Right now, you know we unstoppable. Unstoppable, that mean them can't stop ya. Unstoppable, so now we are trained.
Jamaica is divided into two groups right now. You got the vaxxed and the unvaxxed, and they are clashing, going up against each other. Was that the plan? Is that what them did I work for? You have the people who get the job going up against those who refuse to get it. Now, most persons may be wondering, who is the U.I.C, United Independent Congress? And the U.I.C is a newly formed registered party in Jamaica. So no longer is it just PMP and JLP. This party right here is making them name known. And how them do that? They are going out there and standing up for us, the Jamaican people. They will make sure say we as Jamaican people keep our rights, and those rights that we are entitled to not get taken away from we. Over the years, you have persons who just a rally back and forth between JLP, PMP, JLP, PMP, without even knowing why they are voting for these parties. And most people just go vote for them because them great-grandmother and grandmother and mother and family members say a particular party. But the U.I.C wants UNO to learn about them, wants Jamaican people to understand why they should vote for the U.I.C. Now, the leader of the U.I.C is Mr. Joseph L. Patterson. And Mr. Patterson is one who wants to be very transparent in his doings. Now, we see it before where Mr. Patterson and Mark Stewart and other members of the U.I.C has been going forward, taking it to the streets, standing up for Jamaicans. And right now, we have a long, lengthy video for show, right, where the U.I.C was out in the streets just last Saturday again, standing up for the Jamaican people. So viewers, sit back, relax, participate in the comment section, and check out what is going on our beautiful island, Jamaica.
We're tired of your force and we're tired of your fraud. We're tired of your force and we're tired of your fraud. We're tired of the force and we're tired of the fraud. Mr. Prime Minister, you and your government is a fraud. You have misrepresented the people of Jamaica to the people of the world. This is one country where we're going to be a free country. We don't care. We don't care what happens in another country. If them want to give up them freedom, we will not give up our freedom. We would rather die than be slaves again. 400 years our ancestors suffered in slavery. 400 long years. But guess what? We are going to be united because we're tired of the division. Now they want to divide us into vaccinated and unvaccinated.
My name is Devon Thompson. I am one of 3 vice presidents for the United Independence Congress. And today we are on to cover the U.I.C's Mandeville Walk for Liberty. On the line with me right now, I have Camille Gorijani, the U.I.C's chairperson, and we have Mr. Robert Kerr, who is also a member of the U.I.C's National Executive Council. We're going to talk about a little bit about why we're walking for liberty, because a lot of folks tend to misunderstand the message that we're sending. Before that, I'm going to have Ms. Camille Gorijani introduce herself to you guys.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Walk for Liberty Mandeville. Thank you so much for joining us. We're happy to be here. I am Camille Gorijani, as I said. I am the United Independence Congress chairman, chairwoman, whatever you choose, it's fine with me. And I'm joined by Devon Thompson, our Vice President. We have our president on the ground and a lot of other members. So stay with us as we go live on the ground shortly.
So let me reiterate why the U.I.C is walking for liberty and why the U.I.C has been walking for liberty, because we walked in Hero Circle, we went to Portmore Mall, we went to Spanish Town thereafter, and then Maypen, and now we're in Mandeville. The U.I.C is walking for liberty to highlight the fact that our liberties should be protected at all times, and that individuals, people, persons, human beings should have a choice of what they put in their bodies or of what they don't put in their bodies. I like to use this explanation so that we make it clear. It does not matter what the drug is. It could be Panadol, it could be aspirin, it could be ivermectin, it could be the injections, it could be vaccines. It does not matter. People must reserve the choice to take those medications or not. If you believe that ivermectin works, we would oppose you similarly if you attempt to force that upon the people of Jamaica. If you believe aspirin or Panadol or a vaccine or injection or whatever it is, in your opinion, works, we are going to oppose you in forcing people to take those treatments. It must be the decision, the informed decision of the patient in collaboration with their medical practitioner. Are you listening? It must be the informed decision between the patient and their medical practitioner to take or not to take a medication or a treatment. If someone has cancer and decided that they don't want to undergo the treatment for cancer, what are you going to do? Take that person and throw them in the machine and force them to undergo the treatment? No, that's the person's decision. In fact, in some countries, they have laws that allow people who are terminally ill to actually end their own lives. It happens in Canada, it happens in some other countries around the world. So if individuals do not want to accept a certain medication, you, my friend, do not have the right to force them to do so. And that's what we are about. We are a pro-choice organization. Of course, individuals within the U.I.C. are supporters of the U.I.C., are members of the U.I.C., have their own belief system, has their own opinions on these medications, the vaccine or the injection, the ivermectin, aspirin, or vitamins. Everybody has their own opinions on this. And you can't negate their own opinion, their opinions. You have to listen to what they're saying and try your best to understand. And yes, individuals who are pro-vax, who are pro-mandatory vax, I should say, we should listen to them as well to understand why they've taken the stance of supporting the government in trampling the rights of the Jamaican people. And I say Jamaican people because we're talking about Jamaica right now, because this is a global issue here. Globally, they're trampling on the rights of the global citizen, so to speak. Right? So we have to try to see if we can understand from the perspective of those who want to mandate or support the mandating of vaccines or injections or drugs or treatments. And we wish we could bring one of those folks on to have a quick discussion on it. But their belief is that the unvaccinated are a danger to society. They're a risk to the health of others. I'm not a medical practitioner or a medical expert, so I'm not in the position to determine whether or not that information is factual. But I can tell you this: I am not a danger to society. I am not a danger to you. I am a human being, a healthy human being that does not have SARS-CoV-2 and has never contracted SARS-CoV-2. So looking at me right here, right now, and it's sad for me to have to be saying this, to be trying to explain to you that I'm a human being. Do I look like I'm a danger to you, a danger to society? So what do you think, Camille? How do we try to understand from the perspective of another individual?
I just think it's important for people not to operate in fear, because when you operate in fear, you make all these crazy assumptions and you can no longer be objective, because all you know is the fear that you don't want to get sick and you don't want to die, you don't want to be intubated, which, to be honest, the media has done an excellent job of fear mongering, of causing people to have anxiety attacks, panic attacks, because if you're in the supermarket, for example, Devon, and you just clear your throat, everybody turn around and you look and you're like, COVID. And I'm like, nobody can cough, nobody can sneeze anymore. It's just an insane way of living. And yeah, when you're have a foundation of fear in this thing, rather than being objective, you're not able to really assess the facts of being presented to you, what is legitimate, what is not. And so you go the easy route. Get the vaccination is the easiest thing to take you back to normalcy. Okay, all right, I'm not against vaccinations. I am vaccinated, my children are vaccinated with all our childhood vaccines, okay? So for me personally, I mean, just a regular civilian, I just have a red flag when I'm hearing that there was a $3 million lottery. They've never done this for anything else. They want to give people $1 million to take the shot.
They want to give people guns, land, lollipop, hot dog. It's strange.
I mean, in Jamaica, they're wanting to give this in our first walk. Remember, this older gentleman, he was being pursued actively to get $10,000 to take the shot. Why? We've never seen this before. To me, just the agenda of trying to get you this injection is just insane. The media coverage and the fear mongering. Take this or else we can't go back to normalcy. Take this or else, take this or else. And what about other alternatives?
And that's the worst way to convince me to take something. If I'm gonna take a pill, an aspirin, a Panadol, it must be because I'm feeling sick or I have a headache and I want it to go away.
Right.
If you're gonna tell me to take the aspirin or the pill so you can get your life back, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna do it.
Yeah,
right?
But I don't know if we're maybe the minority. I don't know.
That, right? I don't know if maybe you spike that pill or that, I don't know, right? So I'm not gonna take it. I'm gonna get suspicious. I'm like, why are you telling me to take the aspirin?
I don't have a headache and you want me to take a headache pill. Hello?
Yeah, right?
I'm not doing it.
And there's this thing to say that people who are unvaccinated, to say that they are reckless. There's this thing to say that they're reckless. But this morning I was talking to you, I was telling you that I'm actually feeling under the weather right now. My youngest son, he's feeling under the weather as well.
What was my first question?
If I have COVID, if I went to get tested, and I did. I went and I got tested, and I just saw the result just now. I didn't tell you, but I just saw the result that came in just now to see that I'm COVID-19 negative. So you see, as an unvaccinated person, as soon as I get the sniffles, I say, oh snap, I might be getting COVID-19. So I run to the testing site to get tested. No, people who are vaccinated, and I want you to be honest with yourself right now. If you're listening to this video, and I'm not trying to attack you or anything, but I just want you to be honest with yourself because it's a natural human thing here. If you are vaccinated, or if you feel that what you received protects you from this virus, if you have the sniffles, are you going to run to take a COVID-19 test?
Ooh,
ask yourself that question, and I want you to be honest with yourself. Will you run and go take a COVID-19 test at the first sign of a sniffle? This is what I'm trying to say to you. As an unvaccinated person, I tend to be more safe than you are because you believe that you're protected from the virus and you believe that your odds of transmitting the virus is very low. However, we are hearing from the experts that those who are vaccinated have the same amount of viral load as those who are unvaccinated. Therefore, you have an equal opportunity to transmit this virus. So my friends, you cannot simply discriminate against the unvaccinated simply because they're unvaccinated. I don't have COVID-19. I can't spread it. And you know why I know I don't have COVID-19? Because I have a negative test. Unless you're going to tell me the test doesn't work.
I have another area there.
So if I leave my house right now to go to the supermarket, or to go on a plane, or to go to the bank, who am I putting in danger? Can anyone tell me, who am I putting in danger? Me right now, who is not infected with SARS-CoV-2. I think a lot of emotions are running wild in this thing, and people aren't thinking logically. There isn't a logical framework to this. When we had the first and the second Walk for Liberty, people were asking, why is the U.I.C. walking for liberty? The Prime Minister already said that he's not going to mandate the vaccine. But we said that's not correct. The Prime Minister said, this is what he said, he's not going to mandate the vaccine yet. That is what he said. And then, on, I think it's September 9 or 8 or so, he came out and said that, he came out and said to the Jamaican people that he has the constitutional authority and the constitutional power to mandate a vaccine should he feel that he has met all requirements to educate or to coerce the Jamaican people into taking the vaccine. So he's running his educational campaign. He's saying nothing to the employers who are coercing their employees to take the vaccine, right? He's floated the idea of blocking people from restaurants, not him. Christopher Tufton has floated the idea of blocking people from restaurants, from bars, from the healthcare system, etc., etc. Now we have Guyana and Nigeria blocking people from accessing their banking account, accessing banks because of their unvaccinated status. So now we see where people who were previously I wouldn't say pro-vax, people who are previously pro-vaccine coercion. I don't want to say pro-vaccine mandate right now. People who are pro-vaccine coercion are now realizing that something is not right. So you find that a lot more people vaccinated or not are now realizing that what the U.I.C. has been saying all along was true. Right? So we have a large amount of people now waking up to the realities that what the Prime Minister of Jamaica is saying, what these world leaders, Joe Biden, Justin Trudeau, the ones in France, what they're saying is illogical and makes no sense. Right, Camille?
But the reason for that, though, you know, Devon, is because you're able to be objective, because you're not buying into the fear.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have had, I think it was the bird flu, we've had Ebola, we've had all these other viruses that were killing people. I mean, they were bad viruses, but we have never seen this. There was no vaccination that I know of that was created for it and forcing everyone to take it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as far as I know, you didn't get Ebola or the avian flu, I think they called it, correct?
Yeah. So the other day I was looking at something, and this is a question. It's a rhetoric question that I asked myself because I know the answer. The rhetoric question is, does government care about you? I know the answer. They don't care. They've never cared. For 77 years, they've never cared about our health, right? But I asked myself the question anyway. And in asking myself the question, I said, how many people died? How many people did they register as dying of COVID-19 or due to complications of COVID-19? And I looked and I saw, I think it was at 1,600 in Jamaica. And then I saw somebody make a comment about cancer, trying to compare cancer to COVID-19. So then I decided to go look, and I saw where actually 4,000 people die every single year in Jamaica due to cancer. 4,000 Jamaicans die due to cancer every year. So let me ask you something. Why doesn't Jamaica have a medical system set up, a system of virologists, immunologists actually working on a cure for Jamaicans, for cancer in Jamaica? Why? Why is Jamaica relying upon international organizations to do so? If you really cared about the rights, or sorry, the life and the health of the Jamaican people, wouldn't you do everything possible within your own country, within your own framework, to ensure that people are protected from these diseases, diabetes, cancer? You know, what are the other top killers in Jamaica? Another top killer is road fatality. Road fatality kills quite a bit of children each year, right? So what did the government do within the past 77 years to protect the Jamaican people from that? I don't consider Jamaica a third world country, to be honest, because Jamaica loses or wastes $750 million US per year due to corruption. That is not a third world country. A third world country does not have that amount of money to waste. Are you following me? That Jamaica is not a third world country, and I think that's something that we need to get out of our heads. Jamaica is just a country that is run by very corrupt individuals, corrupt people from 77. It's not just Andrew Wallace or his colleagues, right? Jamaica has been this way for 77 years. And the reason why I use the 77-year mark is because 77 years is the time period for which the PNP and the JLP has been engaging in these activities.
You know, we are here because we love freedom, and we want freedom for every single Jamaican, which means that however we choose to conduct, to put in our bodies. So if someone feel like they want to take a Panadol, you're right. I mean, this is our own sovereign space, you know. Nobody should be able to force you to take any health procedure, or like Devon said, it's a Panadol. It no matter what it is. The bottom line, you must have the final say into your decision as to what you put in your body. That's the bottom line. You know, we're everyday people, 9 to 5 working folks, but we just decided we wanted to take a stand with the Jamaican people. It no matter what religion you are, what your belief system is, whether you believe in the joke or not, it don't matter. We are here for every single Jamaican. And I don't think the Jamaican people really realize or wake up yet to see how things are unfolding.
There is a fear for the U.I.C, but let me say to you guys, and I'm going to say this straight: the only people who should fear the U.I.C are those who have engaged in 77 years of corruption, whether they're alive or dead. Those are the only people who should fear what the U.I.C brings, because the U.I.C brings justice. And for 77 years, some of these individuals have been stealing from the Jamaican people, have been killing the Jamaican people, and have been destroying the lives of the Jamaican people. And they must be made to pay for their crimes in a court of law. Okay? As an individual, as a Jamaican, you need not fear the U.I.C. And let me tell you why I say that, because we have members or supporters of the PNP or the JLP coming out literally attacking the U.I.C as if the U.I.C is currently government, right? So they currently have this strange and irrational fear of what they don't yet fully understand. A third political party, a third viable political party. This is something new. Of course, you had political parties before this, but were they viable? No. The U.I.C, for the first time in Jamaican history, have provided a third viable option to the Jamaican people. This is why the JLP and the PNP, are supporters of the JLP and PNP, are giving us so much pushback. But I want to speak to the people who are hardcore supporters of the JLP and PNP. Look, I might not fully understand your attraction or your attachment to colonial political parties, but what I do understand is that we are all Jamaicans and we all want the same thing, whether you want to believe that or not. What we want is a Jamaica that brings out the best in all its people. We want a government that is not corrupt. We want a government that is anti-corrupt, and therefore will put any of its members, any of its employees on trial for corruption, similar to what Singapore did. That is what we want. We want a system that strongly opposes and criminalizes corruption and corrupt activities. Now, a lot of people like to misunderstand what the word pandemic or what the word scamdemic means, and they would categorize Sean as a conspiracy theory, and they would say he's anti-vax. They would call Sean a lot of names. But hear me out. I understand what Sean is saying. Sean is not saying that there is no pandemic. Sean is not saying that there's no virus. Sean is not saying that there's no disease, there's no COVID-19. What Sean is saying is that the pandemic, the epidemic, the endemic of SARS-CoV-2 is being utilized as an opportunity to take away the liberties of the global citizen. That is what Sean Grant means when he says it's a pandemic and a scamdemic control mechanism, because it is quite literally illogical for a company like Isratech to tell their employees that, to tell their unvaccinated employees that, hey, you need to take a vaccine or take a leave of absence or take a COVID-19 test every 3 days. That is illogical. Why is it illogical? Because the vaccinated has the same opportunity and the same ability to transmit or to be infected with SARS-CoV-2. So if you are trying to protect your employees, if you are trying to protect your business, not only when you mandate COVID-19 testing for unvaccinated employees, you're going to do it for vaccinated employees too. If it is about the health of your employees and the health of your customers, you are going to ask everybody in your company to do 3-day COVID-19 tests. This is why it is illogical, right? Companies, I think, are getting over their heads. They're supporting what Sean Grant here refers to as a pandemic. I think they're over their heads, and I'm not certain they understand completely what they're doing. At least some of them, the ones who are multi-international, like those big corporations like the banks, they know exactly what they're doing because they're owned by the same people who are part of the World Economic Forum, the same people who are part of the World Health Organization, the United Nations. They're all collaborating. But if you're a little small business, hear me out. If you're a little small business in Jamaica, right, and you're gonna come out and you're gonna tell your employees that they should take the vaccine or else, you are getting over your heads. You are biting off a piece of cake that you cannot hope to finish chewing. I'm telling you this right now. So if you are an employer, a little small employer in Jamaica, trying to force your employees to take a vaccine, stop right now. I know that the big companies, we can't tell them to stop. I know why? Because they won't. They are a part of this whole entire thing. They support the actions of the government. So it doesn't make sense to tell them to stop. But what we can do is tell their workers to walk off the job. Tell their customers to stop buying from them. Buy from the small business, the mom and pop shop. Buy from the corner shop. Stop going to their businesses. If you find out that they're mandating vaccine, like CVM, if I know CVM is trying to force their workers to get a vaccine, turn off the TV, unfollow them from social media. It is very simple. Utilize your economic power, right? Stop giving them power by continue soliciting their business. Okay. Okay, let's see what's going on Instagram. So we see Sir KB saying, I don't see the point of mandates when vaccines can still spread and catch. Correct. Another nonsense is that the vaccine now protect them, is that what they're saying with these measures. So we are receiving reports from all over the world that people who are vaccinated are getting ill and are getting sick. There's something that we have to understand. For over a year, a majority of the planet went without a vaccine, and a lot of people caught it and did not realize. So if these people who caught the virus before and didn't realize are now vaccinated, how can you say it was the vaccine that prevented them from getting sick when last year when they caught the virus, they still didn't get sick anyway? So it's kind of, as I said, it's illogical. A lot of common sense needs to be used here. And this is why people have problems with calling the injections vaccines. Because if these were actually vaccines, then the vaccinated would not have to worry about getting ill due to people being unvaccinated, right? So that's why some people have trouble with defining it as a vaccine. Okay, looks like we're having some visuals here on the ground. Okay, let's see what's going on. Yeah, so can you give us some updates on what's going on right now?
All right, so currently we're gathering now. We're going around to the Mandeville Park to get everything started. It was a bit of a challenge getting here for some of us. As you can see, the bus just arrived. So we're gathering now and we're going around to the park.
Okay. Okay, so you guys haven't fully started yet then?
No, we haven't fully started it. No, it was a slight challenge getting there.
Okay. So until you guys, so let me know when you guys have started. You can just unmute your mic and let me know. All right.
Definitely.
I want to talk about the liabilities here. So if the Pfizer vaccine, they said, has been approved by the FDA. So a lot of people have been going out taking the Pfizer EUA vaccines, thinking that the ones that they're taking is actually approved, when in fact the only approved FDA vaccine is the Comirnaty. I think that's how it's pronounced, Comirnaty or something like that. So the ones that are available right now are still under EUA, so you can't sue for those, but you can sue for Comirnaty. However, it's just not available yet. So that's something that I want to bring to your attention. And this is why the smaller companies should be careful about what they're doing, because if you're going to break your employees' contract to mandate them to take the injection, you might be putting yourself in a precarious position where you might become sued, because the U.I.C. is in the process of retaining a lawyer, and we're going to be going after all of those companies who are mandating or breaking their employees' contracts to mandate the injections, right? And the other thing is, if you're going to hire employees, you're going to say to the employees that before you are employed at this company, you have to take this injection. You have to understand that if that injection results in harm, you can be sued by your employee. If you're a small business engaging in these activities, I urge you to stop. We have some police activity here. Let me see if we can get some audio. Kadim, can I get some audio on the police activity? What's going on there?
So police just came around to talk to the leader, so he's going around to Mr. Patterson. So I'm going to see what's going on over there.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we did in Clarendon, just like we did in Spanish Town, just like we did in Portmore and Kingston. And we actually got the blessings from the personnel in Kingston, in Clarendon, even the last day. He said he would like to speak to you.
Good morning, Mr. Joseph. Good to meet you, sir.
But I didn't get adequate response.
Okay. Did you speak with Mr. Marlon? Okay, I thought you spoke with
When I spoke to Alenzo, But I called it up several times. They didn't answer after 4 hours. After 4 yesterday? I apologize. I was in doing something. We need to have people at this time with the pandemic that is happening, that the law, the disaster risk management stipulates how many people can be gathered. Right? I needed to go through all of that video. I needed also to go through the fact that we did not apply for a march. So I could know adequate police person to cover it or to approve or disapprove of it for application. No, we responded. And I'm learning now that you have a march plan. For Wednesday. For today. No, we don't have a march plan for today. We have a walk. We have a walk. Yeah. We have a march plan for North House. It's a different march and walk. I don't know. You tell me. There's no difference. Semantics. Okay. Well, there's no difference. Well, I'm not going to argue with you on the differences, but I sent a WhatsApp to you this morning. Tell you that they're ensured that there's nobody gathered more than 15 persons at one place. Okay. And that people must be wearing masks. And that we don't want any breach of the law this morning. Thank you, sir. Okay. Right. Sure. Can you see them to set the example? Absolutely, and we respect the responsibility. So basically, you're saying there should be no more than 15 persons together, and they must all be wearing a mask. Anything else? No inhibition of traffic. No inhibition of traffic. Okay. All right. And I am just. What's the time period for you? We should be finished by 11:30. There were some people playing music compared to destination. That was another reason. The reason I'm saying that, Mr. Gavia, I understand your concern. And one of the things that we do is make sure that we, as you can see, every single one is dealing with protocol. So when we understand in regards to the traffic, the cluster, we decided we know that we're supposed to spread out. We're not in the means of breaching any law. No, it's what time? It's probably about 10. Yeah. So we can't reach them out because we're now late. So we have to probably about 12. Our goal was normally to be about 2 to 3 hours, so we'd have started at 8:39. I am being lenient, so I'm allowing you to march. So we're going to walk. No, we want to walk. We're not. So we're not reaching the road or anything like that. We're sticking to the sidewalk. And we're not going to obstruct any traffic. No, nothing. So what we're going to do now is break up into groups of 15, and we're going to walk over to the location we plan today, and then we're going to be in that location, speaking, and then we're going to return to this location and then disperse. Bear in mind that I've been lenient if I did not apply. When I recommend you that when you go in other places, you apply to this 3 days before. I mean, all right. And outline your planned activities and get the response. Thank you for your lenience. All right, so proceed, Nolan. Let's go.
Did you get all of that?
No, I didn't hear everything. Can you tell me briefly what happened?
Okay, so he was essentially speaking about protocols and such. We should be in groups of 15, and we shouldn't obstruct traffic, so on and so forth. So he says he's being lenient, right, and allowing us to walk. But we tell him that we're going to separate in groups of 15. We're going to walk to that central spot, and we're going to be there. We're going to spread out, and then we're going to come back here and disperse.
Okay. So what he was saying that we should have applied for permission to walk.
Yes, that's what he was saying. And to the best of my knowledge, it's a case where if we want to walk or a march, we would need a permit. But if you just want to stand one place and protest, you shouldn't need a permit for that, especially being that we're not blocking traffic or anything of the sort.
Yeah, but I don't think he fully understands the law though, because there's no way that he can say that people cannot gather in groups of over 50 outside, because that means that everybody in Jamaica is breaking the law. If you go to a market to buy food in the market downtown or in Maple or anywhere, that means you're breaking the law.
He cited the risk management for the pandemic,
yeah,
saying that we shouldn't have more than 15 people gathered. I think that's what he was going on.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because like if you're going to go on the street, if you're going to take the bus to go somewhere, you know, like there are more than 15 people in a bus. So are you saying that if you take a coaster bus to work, you're gathering in groups of over 15, that means you're illegally taking the coaster bus? You get what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, indeed. But you know, it's better when it beats somebody by playing by the rules, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna try to control the crowd, all right?
My choice. My choice. My choice. My choice.
Sir.
Guys.
Mr. Prime Minister, it was made by the Lamb, petition.
Lick it for them.
Lick it, Billy.
So that's Reverend Mark Stewart there.
My choice. My body. My body. My body. My body. My body. My body. God's body. God's body. My body.
Okay, so you see them walking there. Camille, can you take over for a sec?
Yes, certainly.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on this live. We're live in Mandeville doing our walk for liberty. We're standing for freedom, freedom of choice, my body, my choice, my body, my choice. We have to stand for freedom from any tyrannical government, because the bottom line is this: we cannot afford to let anyone take away our personal liberty, to force any injection on us. We have to have the choice to do our own research, our own due diligence, and look at the facts from people that do not have an agenda, and make our decision from that. We need to be able to make a wise decision from our own research, where we are settled in our heart and mind, said, yes, the vaccine is, this injection is for me, it'll be a good thing for me, or say, you know what, I'm not so sure about this. And until when I'm sure, I'm not going to take something in my body that is irreversible. So we just want to thank everyone for being here with us on this live. You're a part of history in the sense that we are standing in Jamaica for our personal liberties, our personal freedom, life, liberty, and property. That is what the U.I.C. stands for. This is part of the reason why I'm a part of the U.I.C., because I want freedom of my life choices, any choice that affect my personal life, that of my children, any decision that's affecting my liberty, my rights, my property, or freedom. That's the bottom line. Period, end of story. Our personal freedom of choice, our liberty. You know, growing up in Jamaica, I never would have thought that we would be here today, where we even have to be walking for freedom. You know, this, it just boggles my mind. How did we arrive here?
Yes, I'm back. Let's spotlight their image to see what they're doing right now. Okay. Okay, Kadim, if you can hear me, where is Mr. Patterson right now? Is he at the front?
My choice. No mandate. No mandate. No mandate. No mandate. No mandate. No mandate. Our body. Our choice. Our body. Our choice. No mandate. No mandate. No mandate. No mandate. No mandate. No mandate. We receive no mandate. It's our body. My body, our choice. My body, our choice. My body, our choice. My body, our choice. Our body, our choice. Our body, our choice. No mandate. No mandate. No mandate. No mandate. No mandate.
The problem that we have is that as a nation, you're being tricked by force and fraud. When you're given an option, that is not a choice. When you're told that you can't go to school unless you're vaccinated, that's not a choice. When you're told that you will lose your job if you don't get vaccinated, that's not a choice. Let the Jamaican people choose if they want to be vaccinated or they don't want to be vaccinated. We're not here. We need our brothers and sisters who are vaccinated because we have family members who would have succumbed from this thing. So we're not here against that. Our brothers and sisters would have chosen that path. That's their right. So persons who are trying to deem us as a group trying to say that we're against that. No, we're not. But when you're tricked into doing it, when we have family and friends who can't work, can't go to school, can't go to church, can't go to move, can't go on the road to walk around, and they think that the only way to stop this is to follow that mandate, I would say no force, no force, no force, no force, freedom, 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 my body, my body, my body, my body. That is what we're saying. The Jamaican people need to know what is going on. A lot of persons aren't aware. When you're given an option, if somebody walk up to you and tell you, say, hey, I want to choose between this cup of milk or this cup of orange juice, you're being coerced. You're now given a choice to choose one or the other. The poison can be in both. So no matter which one you select, you can be poisoned. We are saying now that a lot of information is not being given out. There's not, it's a joint collective with the Jamaican populace, with our government representatives. If this is something that we want, we're being locked down, we're being coerced into taking something that we do not agree with. If persons agree to take it, fine. That is your right. It's your body, your choice. But as an individual who does not believe in that, you cannot force me to do it. Why is it that okay to take it, but if you decide that you don't want it, it's a problem? We are here to change that today. We have some speakers that are here that want to voice this opinion for persons to understand that there's a strength here. There's a lot of things that is happening in closed doors. The media is not pushing it. You're not hearing what is going on within Jamaica. So we're here to enlighten you. My body, my body. There's a gentleman here by the name of Mr. Mark Stewart. I'm going to allow him to speak for a few minutes. And I want the congregation, I want the populace, I want the Rastas, I want the Babylons, I want the baldheads, I want the Muslims, everyone to come here, Jews, Gentiles, to understand that in Jamaica, if we don't come together as a collective whole, we are going to fall. We are going to fail. And sometimes we need to open our ears. You can check what we're saying, but sometimes you need to open our ears to understand what we're talking about. This is not some story or fictitious thing. If you realize what had happened, first they took 2 hours and said this is only going to last for 2 weeks. It's been 18 months and now it's 3 days. And I guarantee you, I can bet on it. If we don't succumb to this thing, which is this mandate that they're pushing, in the next couple of weeks, you're going to hear 7 days. So all the persons who are walking and shopping and think that everything is fine, they are slowly taking your liberty. They are slowly taking your rights. And you're not seeing it. This is the perfect way. They just take piece by piece by piece. And when you just feel comfortable with, they add more and they add more. And before you look, there's going to be a noose around your neck and it's going to be too late. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to hand you over to Mr. Mark Stewart.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to the eyes and eyes them over there, so I and I respect. Good morning to the men in bow tie. Don't know your name, bless you all. Good morning to the officers. Good morning to each and every one. The U.I.C. group and all the members of the church and everybody who's here, everybody joining in. This is a united effort out here on today in Mandeville. And united we stand, divided we fall. We have a national anthem and a national pledge that before God and all mankind, we stand up for what? Justice. We stand up for what? You forget the platform. We are the company. We are there. We are selling. But attention. I like some fear and Nebuchadnezzar spirit. And the bro God says the only way to survive the pandemic is to take the vaccine. But for many years we've been taking natural herbs. We've been taking the natural things. And we have proven that the natural things still work, even against COVID. The doctors are trying to prove that there is another way. And our government says they will not accept no other way but the vaccine way. They said they would not mandate. But now they have allowed the companies. I have gotten hundreds of calls from my members and from community members saying their jobs are on the line. They are now threatened. Either they take the vaccine when they have comorbidities, they're pregnant, or because they have issues and cannot take the vaccine. So we're out here to defend our workers, our employees. Also, they say that the children did not need to take the vaccine, but all of a sudden, all the children, then we hear them say, whether the children have comorbidities or not, they must still take the vaccine. Who will be responsible for our children when anything happens to them? Will the Prime Minister, will the Minister of Health, will the government responsible for our children? And the answer is a big fat. No. A big fat. No. If your child dies, if your child turns cabbage, head gone, sick, crippled, will the Prime Minister come personally and take responsibility? The Prime Minister tell the preacher woman that God created and made the vaccine. That's a big fat. We know that the international world order, the one world government, the powers that be, create virus, create vaccine, then tells us we must. It is being mandated to be taken. And we can't do that because it cannot be trusted. It's so much percentage of it, they say it's good. But then the top doctor says that the vaccine, when you take it, you can spread it, the virus, and you can be affected by the virus. Now, they say they are so educated. When we were children, we were all vaccinated, yes. And what did we get? An immunization card. What does that word mean, Rastaman? People over the man over there look like lawyer. But they talk to me about immunization. When you take something that immunizes you, it fights against the virus. And it means that all of us who have been immunized, no rubella, no of all those long-term disease cannot affect us because we are immunized. Am I right or wrong? So that means our body has in it that which fights against any other disease or virus that we have been immunized against. Now, this is the difference between immunization and this vaccination. This vaccination, they are now saying those who are vaccinated are carrying what is called a breakthrough case. Now, I was vaccinated as a child, I mean, about a breakthrough case. They are strong at 45. I mean, I'm really concerned for me and make sure that I'm fully vaccinated. And there was no breakthrough case, right or wrong? There was no, all of a sudden, we have Delta. And I must warn you people that the name for Delta is actually the people who are vaccinated that are having issues, they give it a name because they are being sick, They're being hospitalized, and they do not want you to know that it is the vaccinated people, so they give it a name and call it a variant. Now, they got the double jab, and now they want to bring in what is called the what? Huh? Man, I don't know if we're not chicken, but all the chicken men or them boost. Forget them in a 6 week. But they use the chicken mentality because chicken has what? 6 weeks. Now they tell you at 6 months, you must do what? Boosted. Now they come with the move variant. What is happening? The double vax people are now developing what is called the move variant, which makes them vulnerable to that which they already have inside of them, which is the vaccine mixed with the virus. So they call it the move variant. So all the vaccine people are the ones dying and being hospitalized, and they're turning it around saying it is the unvaxxed. But only things and time will tell. We're not telling you don't take it. All we're telling you, my body, we must have a choice. As a child, maybe we didn't, because those were 25 and 30 years that it took to make those, so they were safe because they were well developed. Now, these are how we come up developed, and all the world leaders are pushing one agenda. Why is it that nothing else can be brought to the light? We always look for various medicines. You go to doctor, you take one medicine, it works or it don't work, you go back to the doctor, what they do? They change the medication, right or wrong? Many of us have many medication at home that never work, and we have to get a different one, right and wrong. So why are they saying the only thing that can work right now, which is not working, because we are under lockdown for all long, and it is the most hospitalization, and it is the most death. So is the lockdown working? No. Is the vaccine working? No. So why should I risk my life to take something that is not working? If it was working, and everything was going down and things was getting back to normal, then they could have tell us that it is working. But it has gotten worse, which simply means it is not working. So why should I take something that is not working? Listen, the man, they are so against church. And let me speak for the church. We are a religious country, we have all kinds of religion, and we respect the Rasta, they respect us, and we don't cuss and quarrel. Sometimes we cuss one another more than now. That we and them man the dialogue, and if them say, Jah Rastafari, we still can communicate on a love and a peace level. Not true? Oneness. Oneness, because we all defend oneness. But we defend one God. Are you with me? And so today I want to say to a nation that has backslidden from their God, from their creator. And I want to say that if we have turned from our creator and turned to man and science, we are bound to fail as a nation. Because a nation under God is a nation who can be saved from anything, any disaster, any pandemic, any earthquake, any hurricane. But when we turn from the master and to man, who is politician, by the way, and one of the reasons I can't trust these men, they are not doctors and science. Remember, please, they are politicians who are carrying out an order. And that's what I fear. That's what I fear. In Canada, because we come with information, they are now getting ready to take the people's license and take the people's ID. And they're getting ready to make one card, not with a picture, but with a number. Jamaica is moving towards the same, a number. Everybody is moving towards a what? A number system. What is every vaccine is registered by a what? Number. So they know everybody will take it. That's why you get a card. Because they know which one you got, what type, and what's the number. So you're registered in a system. And that's what we're saying. We have a choice whether we want to be in their system. Because there's two things that can be done with this vaccine. If you take it and you survive, you will be controlled. If you take it and you're dead, you are not supposed to be here. Can I talk about that? I said, if you take it and survive, you will be controlled. If you take it and you die, you should not be around. For the world power. I'm talking truth. We're talking truth. We're talking truth. And we have a body and we have a body and we have a body and we have a. On every side we are cornered. They have set up the employers against the employees. They have set up the children against their parents and the parents against their children. So everywhere you turn, we are cornered. But we still have a my body, I have to go to church, so I gotta leave you. But I want to say to you, remember, we have rights. Our rights. We heard the group. We heard the group that represent the workers. I heard them on the radio. And they said, the people who do not take the vaccine, employees, they're going to overwhelm the system if they make all these claims. So the easiest way out is to take the vaccine so you and your boss can go and work and everything all right. So guess what? Even your representative have now given up on you. What does that mean? You're left on your own. So now we got to fight for our, my body. God bless you. Make the right choice.
Thank you, sir. We have a gentleman from the Muslim community.
Assalamu alaikum. I enjoyed the pastor and what the pastor was just saying. And the pastor is on point. And this is what Jamaica needs. Jamaica needs Rasta, Christian, Muslim, atheist, and everybody coming together, united for this common cause. And what is the cause? My body, my choice. Nobody should dictate what I do with my body and then put boundaries on me for what I choose or do not choose to do with my body. Right now, they are, as Pastor said, they are dividing the country into the vaxxed and the unvaxxed. They are dividing our homes in the vaxxed and the unvaxxed. I'm going to share some information with you, brothers and sisters, just as quick as possibly. Now, we are taking mostly Pfizer and AstraZeneca vaccines. Are we aware of the many lawsuits that Pfizer have gone through in going into mainly Africa to mess up Black people and Black people's children in Africa? Nigeria sues Pfizer for $7 billion over illegal tests on children. These are the people that our government say that we should trust. And we should trust the science. And we should trust the scientists. But this is, you can Google this. We didn't make this up. We didn't write this up. This is on Google. Nigeria sues Pfizer for $7 billion over illegal tests on children. The Nigerian government is suing the world's largest drug manufacturer, Pfizer, for allegedly carrying out illegal trials of anti-meningitis drug that killed or disabled children. Pfizer had to pay out $175,000 for each family that they messed up with this, not experiment. This wasn't an experiment. This was a deliberate act or action on the part of this company to kill Black people's children in Africa. But guess what? That's just one of the many atrocities that Pfizer committed. Justice Department announces largest healthcare fraud settlement in its history. Pfizer to pay $2.3 billion for fraudulent marketing. Listen to what Pfizer did. FDA, Pfizer promoted the sale of Bextra for several uses and dosages that the FDA specifically declined to approve due to safety concerns. And after all of that, the company will pay a criminal fine of 1.95 billion, the largest criminal fine ever imposed in the United States for any matter. Pharmacists of Joint will also forfeit 105 million for a total criminal resolution of 1.3 billion. This is the largest civil fraud settlement in history against a pharmaceutical company. Are you listening, brothers and sisters? Because this is not about making noise. This is about paying attention. The size and seriousness of this resolution, including the huge criminal fine of 1.3 billion, reflected the seriousness and scope of Pfizer's crimes, said Mike Knox, acting U.S. Attorney for the District of Massachusetts. Pfizer violated the law over an extensive period. Furthermore, at the very same time, Pfizer was in our office negotiating and resolving the allegations of criminal conduct by its then newly acquired subsidiary, Warner Lambert. Pfizer was itself in the other operation violating those very same laws. We cannot trust these companies, brothers and sisters. Just be patient, as I want you to get all of this information. Now, you are aware of the Nuremberg Codes, right? Okay, the Nuremberg Codes introduction. The judgment by the War Crimes Tribunal at Nuremberg laid down 10 standards to which physicians must conform when carrying out experiments on human subjects in a code that is now accepted worldwide. This judgment established a new standard of medical behavior for the post-World War II human rights era. Amongst other requirements, this document enunciates the requirement of voluntary informed consent of the human subject. The principle of voluntary informed consent protects the right of the individual to control his own body. What is informed consent? Well, listen to what informed consent is, brothers and sisters. When you have informed consent, the person who is administering the medicine must give you the full information of what is in the medicine. Have they told us what is in these vaccines? Talk to me, family. Has anybody ever come out and tell us what are the components or ingredients in any one of these vaccines? Okay, so this is informed consent. You must sit me down and tell me everything that is within the vaccine, and then tell me the possible side effects of these vaccines. Tell me that the vaccine can kill me, the vaccine can cripple me, the vaccine can do all of these things to me. And guess what? Ask the question. If I ask, do I have to still wear a mask after I take the vaccine? What is the answer to that?
Yes.
Do I have to still socially distance after I take the vaccine? What is the answer to that? Can I still contract the virus after I take the vaccine? Can I still pass the virus? onto somebody else after I take the vaccine, then why do I need the vaccine? My body, my choice. And if the vaccine cannot protect me from the virus, why do I need the vaccine? So brothers and sisters, I'm saying to us, they are saying that it is the ignorant, the uneducated, and the poor who are making wrong decisions. I believe that they have miscalculated today, because the poor and the so-called illiterate are listening. They have information, and by the information we can make better decisions with our lives. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. God bless.
Thank you, Brother Clive, for your very important contribution. Of course, you know, the U.I.C is very inclusive. We believe in one Jamaica. We believe in a Jamaica of equal justice and liberty for all. This may sound cliche, everybody says it all the time, but it's not usually practiced. A lot of people talk a good talk, but don't walk the walk. And if you notice, mongoose and rats, they don't like each other. They're not a friend. The PM said that the vaccine a godsend. But we know that the effects of this vaccine and the talk about the vaccine and the divisiveness of this vaccine is really the enemy of the people. I am not a scientist, but we know some men are dead. People are dying. I have never seen Jamaicans so compliant and so quiet. Jamaicans are maroon people. We don't take back shots. No time, no time. That's who we are. But we have been dumbed down into some little, I don't even want to use the word. I am not pleased with the behavior of the Jamaican people today. When I was in high school in the 70s, we heard about Mandela. We saw graffiti with talking about Mandela and the freedom of the people in South Africa. The Jamaicans today, we take a lockdown, we shut up. We take 2-day lockdown, we shut up. Now we are on 4 days, and everybody quiet like a mouse. This is not the Jamaica. This is not the Jamaica that people know us to be. This is not the Jamaica that has encouraged liberation movements all across the globe. What have we become as a people? What have we become? The question is asked, who is the next leader? We've had leaders from Michael Manley to Malcolm to Marley. Most of our leaders have been killed. They've been killed because they were carrying a message of freedom and liberation for all people. Now the U.I.C, which is the United Independence Congress, is the real reason why we are here today. We are trying to transform government into a new dimension, a dimension of equality, a dimension of inclusiveness, a dimension of care, actual care for our citizens. I go to the market every Wednesday, and let me tell you something, not pretty out there for them people there. The market people are suffering. They live hand to mouth. A lot of us could be here today, could be doing something different. We could be spending time with our families and not be demonized by people who are ignorant, who look at you and look like you're back at the moon, not knowing that it's out of concern why you're here. I commend and I applaud every one of you who are here today. The Muslim brothers, the dreadlocks, Rastafarian, the Maroons, regular Jamaican people, we are all here united with a common cause, a cause that is being carried by one of our founding members, the actual founding member, the man who founded the U.I.C, the man called Joseph Patterson, who, against all odds, think about this. PNP and GLP are brethren. They are a duopoly. They work against the Jamaican.
Mark Cameron speaking there.
When the U.I.C tried to get registered under their rules, which they did not have to do, they never registered because their grandfather did the system. But they put the system so difficult. We had to get signatures. We had to go over so many hurdles to get to a point of legitimacy based on their concerns. And here it is today that the people are with us, the people are moving forward, and there's no turning back. I'm 60 years old. I have seen many of our people come and gone. Many persons 90, my mother's 93 years old, and she has not seen the liberation that was promised. How long will you continue to struggle and to beg for freedom? Here it is, we don't have to fight for freedom. The freedom is obtained by the ballot box. All you have to do is go in there and put your finger in the ink and make them know, so we run things. Them not run we. We are the ones who are going to make the people of Jamaica safe by being fair and caring. So without further, let me introduce you to Mr. Joseph Patterson, the leader of the United Independence Congress. Please give a big round of applause, please.
Good morning, Jamaica. Good morning, Jamaica. No force. No force. No force. My body. My body. My body. I'm very happy to be here with you today because today is a special day. A pivotal date in the history of mankind. A day that changed the world forever. I have a lot to say to you today, but before I say another word, I want to big up my Rasta friend them. What Rasta friend them then? I want to big up my Rasta friend them. I want to big up my Nation of Islam friend them. Hold up an hand. I want to big up my Christian friend them. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
I want to big up all Jamaicans because guess what? We're one Jamaica. Say it with me. One Jamaica. One Jamaica. One Jamaica. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. It doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. It doesn't matter if you come from uptown or downtown. It doesn't matter if you're a countryman or a Kingston man. What matters is that you're a Jamaican. And so we're one Jamaica, and that is why this United Independence Congress of Jamaica is going to get rid of the division. Because the politicians them allow the colonial masters to divide us into two tribes. And then have us fighting each other for scarce benefits and spoils. But guess what? We are going to be united because we're tired of the division. Now they want to divide us into vaccinated and unvaccinated. And they want us to hate each other. But there will be no hate because we're one Jamaica. D-Mens, you ready for sing, sir? Dr. Lewis, you ready for sing? All right. So D-Mens will give us some acapella. And then Dr. Lewis might give us some serious sensation. All right, D-Mens, one with it.
ELI. Yeah. Ever living, ever show up faithful. Emperor Selfless, Empress Menai. Yes, Mandeville. I got you a situation right now. Just want to say, I that dwell in the Most High, you know. Or good and pleasant is for sister and brethren come together night. It is like precious eye made upon the head that going to build up here and go to the spirit of the storm. And it's here Empress last year, Barakai and give I life forevermore. As you do have to remember that I said about the Mount Zion, cut and clear and wicked. Never live, never show him faithful, wicked and afraid. Jump to the beast. Y'all living, don't sell out. Yes, I have a great youth about them called Pelican. And the man said, no vaccine. See, so and the arts there. See, so that's who you're the artist, you know. So, but you know, say, for a level one, big up U.I.C. See, Mr. Joseph Patterson, one love. See, I'm one of vote females. I can get rid of them two parties, you know. I mean, I joke, you know. I never voted, but me I tell you, I have a vote, you know. See, I just want the police and the soldiers them come and join the march soon. We have Jamaica House next week. Is that party celebrated? All right, so we want a strike. We want to set, you know, 14 parish. Pick up Rastafari House every time. Bigger than the place. See, Ras Mafia. Yeah. I mean, I said, Niggy Ziggy. Yeah, man. One love every time. What we say? Take the master. Take the master. Mandeville. Take the master. Corrupt politician. Take the master. No one me oxygen. Yo, me try the mask for your day. Me too really the too fake. Only do it, me not know. Queen easy there. Take the mask off for the children. It's a partisan. We can't breathe. We need to breathe. You understand? You understand? Take the mask off. Corrupt politician. Take the mask off. No want me oxygen. We need the oxygen. You understand? Me say me run out of breath. You don't see me a sweat. The place too hot. No one hear the man a chat. They want to chat about a crap. Yo, you know, so the country hot. And Babylon don't want to stop. Like we up to go sharp, bigger than just run a local part. Hey, them a go on like we owe them something. Man's palm face. It's a party, so we don't trust them something. Last time we checked that, the criminal told money, what is that? Take the master. What's going on? Take the master. Take the master. Why everybody say, take the master. Take the master. Take the master. No want the oxygen. We need the oxygen. Run out of breath. Hey, tough son. Anti-homeless. You don't see how we are sweat. The place too hot. Hey, police and soldier, man.
Time for no lock up.
Time for no lock up some politician. Hey, police and I mean, I can't meet a politician. I'm a good politician. Come on, politician. Hey, police and soldier, woman. Remember, say, I am the mother for the nation. Oh, we tired of the oppression. Her government free of the nation. Hey, police and soldier, man. You look like you're not seeing none of them. So, hey, police and soldier, woman. Time for no lock up some politician. Hey, police and soldier, woman. They must say, I am the mother for the nation. Whoa! The people them tired of the oppression. We're government free of the nation. You got to contact the people.
Peace and wellness to everyone. We just want to say this one thing because we don't want to get away and respect the U.I.C. and whatever thing they are doing. We support them. I'm an artist and I'm a herbalist. And I'm talking from a herbalist perspective. There are many herbs in Jamaica that we use to help and aid with this COVID-19. There's a herb known as Andrographics paniculata. We call it rice bitters. Very, very powerful herb for the lungs. Clean mucus out of the lungs. There's another herb known as pill-bearing sponge. Super powerful to remove mucus from the lungs, from the bronchial tube. So there is a lot of herbs that we as herbalists use and can help the government. I write to the Prime Minister, tell them, say, yo, what we as herbalists can do to assist nobody returned any form of answer. None at all. So this is a land of food and water, and the wood were there are pear herbs. And the herbs them were there are help the people them. Try and remember that is 97% of these people are getting well without the aid of any vaccine. Don't be pressured into this thing what them call me. It is a gene therapy, not even a vaccine. It is a gene therapy. It's a practice. It's a them a try and do. Yeah, I'm going to let you talk right away, my boss. What they're trying to do is to force us and take away our rights, and we're not going to do that. We're not stand up for that, none at all, and that is my contribution. Why I'm here today, and I will always be wherever they say no to the vaccine.
Everybody, no force,
no fraud.
No force,
No fraud.
No force,
No fraud.
One Jamaica.
One Jamaica.
One Jamaica.
One Jamaica.
My body.
My choice.
My body.
My choice.
My body.
My choice.
All right. Before this man speak, I want you to hear a good friend of mine. Hold on, man. Hold on. I want you to hear a good friend of mine. So everybody has to be in a distance.
Correct.
Everybody.
Correct.
Because I want you to so you hold on. Let's hear my friend here.
Yeah, man. Nobody.
Our choice.
Nobody.
Our choice.
Nobody.
Our choice.
Come on, give me an attitude at it. Our body.
Our choice.
Our choice. No one, nobody rap with me. Hello?
No.
If we couldn't trust Hitler, and we couldn't trust Confucius,
Yes, sir. Come on.
and we couldn't trust Jim Jones, because Jim Jones got some people are going and poison up all of them.
All right now.
Hello?
Yes.
And he claimed that he was a Christian. It's not every Christian belongs to the kingdom of God. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? And it's not every church, hello, is the church that Jesus said, upon this rock I build my church.
All right now. Come on. Yes.
Some church has Satan are running.
All right now.
Hello?
Yes.
So we are sing a tune, because a long time we have prepared. And we come out here to support U.I.C.
Yes, yes.
Because I belong to another party here. But today, I did first we come out. I was in Aruba, and my friend said, nothing about Jamaica. Jamaica can't help you, Lester. He give me 400 guilders every week. I said, just stay here and help me with the church. And the next plane going out, I was on it. Because I believe in Jamaica.
Yes, yes, yes.
I believe in my people. Yes, yes. I believe we are the greatest people who was created to advance the world.
That's right.
Am I talking?
That's right.
So may I write some tune when I sound like that come from church. So many people not going to listen to me. But today, U.I.C. give me a chance. Hello? And my sound system up there, you know, I walk with the sound system here, it's easy. And Mandeville is our inheritance. Jamaica is our inheritance. When you come into the kingdom, God, no one just get a car and a house. God said, He said He will give you the nation as our inheritance. Come on, my body. So the first tune. Get the first tune. You ready, Beat?
Yes, go ahead.
I want the man. Let somebody go and click with my phone. All right. Are you ready?
Yes, yes. Come on now.
Oh, boy. What is the people's rights? What is the people's rights? I want to know. What is the people's rights now? What is the people's rights? Justice is the people's rights. Am I talking? Justice is the people's right. Everybody say, justice is the people's right. Come on, say, justice is the people's right. My right,
my right,
your right,
your right,
as a neighbor's right. the neighbor's right. After me, come on. My right.
My right.
Your right.
Your right.
And the neighbor's right. The neighbor's right. The neighbor's right. My right now.
My right.
Your right.
Your right.
And the neighbor's right. The neighbor's right. The neighbor's right. Oceans of justice and rivers of fairness. Oceans of justice and rivers of fairness. That is my Father's request. Oh God, Heavenly Father's request. Equal rights and justice for all. Oh God, justice is the administration of the law in maintaining fairness. The quality of being fair, reasonable and righteous. That is the people's rights. So we said justice is the people's rights. My rights.
My right.
Your rights.
Your right.
And the neighbor's rights. The neighbor's rights. My body. My body. The song. We record this song in Nigeria. Place named Just. And I come to Jamaica in 2015. I spent 1 year in Nigeria. And when I come to Jamaica, I finished, yeah? When I come to Jamaica, I bring the CD to Bob's Grange. I want to hear none from that time. It's about 5 years now. When I give it to Love FM and Gospel JA, they don't play them. When I give them to any radio station, they don't play them. Because them decide, say, they must stop the music too. The police come over here and tell me can't play no music. We give thanks. So, but we have a voice. And we're not social distance with my wife. And my wife this. Hello? 40 years. 42 years of marriage. So let me let you know. This is a song with them pray. Pray. The 21st century ushered us into a world of globalization, economic uncertainty, health epidemic, and political deceit. The disintegration of the family structure, compromise, terrorism, social and sexual confusion. True leaders are hard to find. Missing ingredients is character. The missing ingredients is character. Politicians break their own laws. Religious leaders violate the morals they expose. Business tycoon betray the trust they develop, while athletes break the rules they swear by. True leaders are hard to find. If there is one thing that has magnified itself in this century, it is the blunt display of effective leadership in every arena. Doctors ignore their code of ethics and sworn oaths. Teachers sleep with students they should protect. Priests take advantage of the children they expected to serve, while husbands abuse the wives they vow to honor, and corruption is the culture of our global society. True leaders are hard to find. Missing ingredients is character. True leaders are hard to find. Missing ingredients is character. Missing ingredients is character.
Thank you. And for persons out there, is trying to show you what U.I.C is about. It's about unification. You have persons from the Rastafarian community that's here. You have musicians. You have persons from the Nation of Islam. You have Christians. You have the regular Jamaican person. We are here to tell you that it's about unification. We're not here speaking about persons who
want to be vaccinated versus not. We're here to speak about your liberty of choice. We're trying to show you this is about choice, the freedom to choose. We are not against our brothers and sisters. It's within your right to choose if you want to be vaccinated or not. This is not the message. The message is greater than that. The message is about our freedom that is being taken from us piece by piece by piece. We're not against the politicians. We're not against, well, we're against the politicians that are destroying us. We're not against the persons that are for us. We're not against the police officers that's doing their job. We're not against the JDF that's doing their job. We're not against those persons. They have their work to do to keep us safe and sound. The Rasta is here for their message and they show you. The Nation of Islam is here that they show you. The regular Jamaicans are here because that's what we're trying to show you, what the U.I.C. is about. Now, the person that is here to speak to you, his name is Mr. Patterson, Mr. Joseph Patterson, one of the most amazing individuals I came across. This man is what you call selfless. He is the one that has been pushing this for 10 years. He has been fought against by both parties and the media. For 10 years, you could not hear anything about the U.I.C. We had to take them to Supreme Court, which we won, to do what we're doing, because they don't want you to have anyone telling you of the truth. And all we're telling you is that you're a free and proud nation, and you should stop giving up your liberty for a simple thing that you might have security. You're going to lose it all. That is our message here today. The message is that we're here to unify Jamaica, not to have any separate part. We want our brothers and sisters, vaccinated, unvaccinated, Ras, Ballad, police, soldier, you name it. You're supposed to be able to free to do whatever you choose, as long as you're not infringing on anyone else's rights. I'm going to let Mr. Patterson speak to you now, and thank you very much for the Rastafarians who came emails. Thank you, Mr. Lester. Thank you to the persons that is here from the Ministry of Islam. Thank you very much, and thank you for our supporters. But no, the real individual, and I want you to open your eyes and ears, and open your heart and listen to what this man is saying. You will understand why I say he's not selfish, he's selfless. And when he's speaking for everyone, not separation. I'm saying not any form of separation. I may be speaking incorrectly, but I need to get off this mic so the great man can speak. Mr. Joseph Patterson.
Thank you very much, Marlon. Everyone, I want to make something very clear to you. See, I'm not really a politician. I'm an ordinary Jamaican like all of you. But when we see the condition of our country, when we see the condition of our situation today in the attempt to take away our freedom, then all of us have to become politically involved to save our country and to save ourselves. We have a major problem before us right now. It's a matter of life and death. It's a matter of going back into 400 years of slavery from which we have been taken. It's a matter of not just losing your freedom, but possibly losing your life. And so, my friends, I'm very heartened that you're all here today. And I want to let you know that we have some refreshment back here for you. So when I'm done speaking, I want you to all get some refreshment. In our midst today, we have people from all sides of Jamaica. As you heard, Rastafarians, Muslims, Christians, Ballad, Dread, you name it, men, women, and even some children. We're in this mess today because we have a government that does not understand three simple words. Word number one, they don't understand how to be objective. They think everything must be political. Everything must be about my party winning, as opposed to the Jamaican people winning. The next word that they don't understand is a very simple word. It's transparency. They don't understand that transparency builds trust. When you're transparent, people trust you. And people can understand what you're saying and can follow what you're saying. So some people who want to lead us don't want to be transparent. So what they do instead, they give you piecemeal information while they're tricking you to go down a particular path. And one day, you finally realize that the trap is strong and you're trapped. Them corner you and introduce mandates and take away your rights completely. There's a third word that our political leaders do not understand. A very simple word. It's called inclusivity. It's when you include people who don't think like you, or who may look different from you, or who may not understand things the way you understand it. Inclusivity. Why do I bring up these three words? Objectivity, transparency, and inclusivity. Is because when this virus problem started in the pandemic, the U.I.C. wrote to the Prime Minister immediately. We asked him a number of key questions that all of you are asking today. There were approximately 21 questions. We asked him these questions to open his eyes, to open his understanding, so that we wouldn't be here today. Our Prime Minister was told, don't make this a political football. Let's put together a public emergency council immediately and bring together people from all political parties, the scientists, the doctors, the engineers, the lawyers, and the man on the street, and let us understand this problem carefully. This is how you write good policy, by being objective. If our Prime Minister was objective, many Jamaicans would not have died so far. Why? Because they would have known that the so-called vaccine is not the only solution, and that you could actually treat people and have them be well instead of be dead. But because they're not objective, they're pushing one single solution. And because they're not transparent, and because they're not inclusive, the Jamaican people don't trust them. So right now, more than 70% of you don't want to take the fake vaccine. Why do I call it a fake vaccine? I call it a fake vaccine because it's not like the childhood vaccine you received when you were a child. They've adopted the name in order to make you not realize that this is something very different and which you must be very careful about. Where is this really going though? Just recently, the finance minister announced that Jamaica now has a digital currency. So very soon, you're going to be told that you can't go to school, you can't go to work, you can't go to any public buildings, you can't go to the bank, you can't access your money unless you take this so-called vaccine. In other words, give us your body if you want to live. They must have dominion over your body. Now watch me. They actually were tricking you for a number of years. It's not just yesterday. Many of you would have jumped up and down and got excited about free education. And what they do with free education, they give you a miseducation. So they take away your money and then force you into a system that miseducates you. Many of you would also have been excited about free health care. So now they said we own your body because you're going to mess up our healthcare system, and say if you want to use the healthcare system, you must subject yourself to this vaccine. Why am I telling you these things which are unpopular? Nobody wants to hear a politician talk about free education or free healthcare the way I'm talking about it. I just want you to realize the trick. There are many tricks. The latest trick now is the digital currency. With the digital currency, they're going to be able to turn on and off the access to your money at will. So when you stop having cash to use, they will be able to just say, you don't want to do what I want you to do, turn off the money. Because you cannot do anything digital if they turn off the switch. I want you to watch me carefully. Who has done this to you? 1944, 77 years ago. 1944, 77 years ago, our British colonial masters gave us the right to vote. But they didn't give us that right to vote until they divided us in two parties first. Because they know that as long as we are united, we know who the enemy is. So what they did was to divide us and made us our own enemies. So now since 1944 to today, 77 years, we have been fighting each other instead of the colonial masters. And by dividing us, they were able to distract us. And by distracting us, they were able to extract our wealth from us, which is why today most of us in Jamaica are poor. And then all the politician has to do is to tell you nice things about how they're going to take you out of poverty while they're really only making themselves enjoy more prosperity. So you will notice that when a person goes into politics, they might go in poor, but very shortly afterwards, they notice they are rich. If they're in there for 5 years, they get 5 years richer, and you get 5 years poorer. If they're in there for 10 years, they get 10 years richer, and you get 10 years poorer. Why do I say that? Look at the price of goods and services. Every single day, the price of goods and services go up. Every single day, the value of your money go down. Every single day, the banks get billions and billions in profit, and you are stuck. You can't finish build your house. You have to struggle to send your kids to school. You can't pay a medical bill when it come up, and you can't take a vacation further than your veranda. They know that they are tricking you and tricking you and tricking you, but all the time they have you voting for them and voting for them and voting for them while they are destroying you. Yes, they might give you a zinc now and again. Yes, they might give you a bag of cement now and again. Yes, they might give you a 5 bills in a t-shirt now and again. But that's not what you want. What you want and what you need is what the U.I.C has been offering now for 10 years, and the people can't hear it. It's very simple. You need a system of government which does 3 things. What did I say? 3 things. You need a system of government that does 3 things for you. Very important 3 things. You need a system that protects your life from criminals. If you notice, Jamaica continues to have a high crime rate. You need a system that protects your liberty. That is the right to choose what goes into your body and what you do with your property. And you need a system that protects your property rights. There should be no squatters in Jamaica because all Jamaicans should have a property right. There should be no Jamaican who does not have a home because the first obligation of a country is to see to that all of your citizens can own a home. If you go to Singapore today, 98% of their population are homeowners. Why? Because the leader of Singapore understood that when you give people their rights and protect their rights to life, liberty, and property, you create a great economy. So Singapore was poorer than us in 1965. And now Singapore is 1,000% richer than us today because they invested in education, they invested in property rights, and they invested in a secure and non-corrupt environment. Jamaica, on the other hand, has become a very corrupt environment. And that is why the Prime Minister can now use corruption to mandate all kinds of things against you. They took away your right to breathe fresh air. They took away your right to move around freely. They took away your right to associate. And now they want to take away your right to decide what goes into your body. Jamaica, if you did not lose the spirit of Nani and the spirit of Marcus Garvey and the spirit of Sham Sharp and the spirit of Herbal, they would have run out of God knows already. But we have lost that spirit. We have allowed them to drain us of our courage, drain us of our vigor, and make us poor, dependent, and weak. But I'm here to tell you today that those days are over. I am calling on all Jamaicans, all across the country, all 3 million of us here, and all 4 million of us overseas. Now is the time for us to take back our country from those who have stolen it from us. Now is the time for us to say the end of colonialism in all of its form. Now is the time for us to secure our liberty and freedom once and for all. Now is the time for us to be an independent nation. Now is the time for us to be a free nation. Now is the time for us to be a powerful nation. Now is the time for us to be true Jamaicans. And so, my people, I want us to stop being JLP and stop being PNP. I want us to stop being partisan. I want us to become one Jamaica again. We were one Jamaica before, and the British tricked us and made us into two Jamaica. And those two Jamaica is not just a PNP and a GLP Jamaica, it's a rich and a poor Jamaica. It's a Jamaica where 5% are rich and 95% are poor. We need to create a Jamaica where every Jamaican has equal opportunity, equal right, and equal justice. And so, my Jamaican people, I am asking you, I am begging you to get the fire again, to get the nanny fire again, to get the maroon fire again. I'm begging you to get the Marcus Garvey fire again. I am begging you to get the Paul Bogle fire again. I am begging you to be Sam Sharp again and say, I would rather die on the undergallows than live in any form of slavery. And we have lived in slavery for far too long. I was born to a single mother in Kingston, Jamaica, in a place called Blake Road, in a small one-bedroom house, 4 away, sleeping on one bed, eating callaloo and cornmeal for dinner most nights. I know what it is like to be poor, and we have been poor too long. I know what it is like to suffer, and we have been suffering too long. And if you look at it carefully, all of those who came about as our leaders, they have not been suffering. They're living in luxury. We have a prime minister right now who is richer than anybody else in his age group who never born comes to wealth. How we get so rich in politics, I would like to know. Why is it you can spend 25 years in politics and you are richer than everybody else in your cohort? Something is wrong. And so I'm calling on all Jamaicans to stop taking the sufferation. Stop allowing them to manhandle you and abuse you and rob you and rip you off. It's time for us to stand up. And you can't stand up if you keep voting PNP and GLP. You can't stand up if you allow them to inject us against our will with this vaccine. Nobody is allowed to violate your body. Nobody is allowed, when somebody violates your body, that is rape. They want to rape us with this vaccine because what I'm saying is, take it or lose your job. What kind of something that? They're going to stick you up and say, take it or you lose your job. Take it or you can't go to school. Take it or you can't use the bank. Take it or you can't go in a public building. Take it because we say you must take it. And the Prime Minister made it clear. He said, for now, I am just doing all the things I need to do so that when the time comes for me to mandate it, I can say with the tripod to do it the easy way first. What kind of leader is that? What kind of example is that? You want to tell me you're going to threaten the people you were elected to serve and protect? You want to threaten the people that you were elected to serve and protect? That is not a leader, that is a misleader. That is not a leader, that is a tyrant. That is not a leader, that is a dictator. And Jamaicans, we must not allow them kind of leadership to continue to run our country. My people, Jamaica, the time has come for us to say, no mandate. What was that? No mandate. No mandate. No mandate. No mandate. No mandate. The time has come for us to say, no lockdown. No lockdown. No lockdown. No lockdown. No lockdown. No lockdown. The time has come for us to say enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. It's either you're going to be a leader or we're going to take you out of the situation. We cannot allow you, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Opposition Leader, all 63 members of Parliament, all 21 senators, all 228 councillors. We will not allow you to take away our rights and freedom. And I tell you this, if it's a fight you want, it's a fight you're going to get. Because we, the people of Jamaica, are prepared to die for our rights. We are not afraid of nobody, and I can tell you this, the police and the soldier will be on our side. Because they know that what you're doing is a lie, is a fraud, and must be taken out of the place. Mr. Prime Minister, I want to tell you that Jamaica will not be a victimized nation anymore. You're not going to victimize us and take away our job because you want to give us the foreign master's job. No, sir, not gonna work. We're not going to be a segregation either. We're not going to have a segregated nation. We're not going to have a nation where some are vaccinated with privilege and some are not vaccinated. No, we are not going to have a segregated nation. Segregation is done. Mr. Prime Minister, we shall not be separated any longer. Thanks to you and your bad policy, you are uniting Jamaica because we are united against force, we are united against fraud, and we are united against division. And so, Mr. Prime Minister, I can say this to you loud and clear. We're tired of your force and we're tired of your fraud. We're tired of your force and we're tired of your fraud. We're tired of the force and we're tired of the fraud. Mr. Prime Minister, you and your government is a fraud. You have misrepresented the people of Jamaica to the people of the world. This is one country where we're going to be a free country. We don't care. We don't care what happened in the other country. If they want to give up them freedom, we will not give up our freedom. We would rather die than be slaves again. 400 years our ancestors suffered in slavery. 400 long years. And we praise Sister Nanny because she fight and escape. We praise Brother Marcus even though we reject him and a foreign accept him. A time comes for we know to accept it now. Don't make them kill another Marcus Garvey. Don't make them hang another Sam Sharp. Don't make them kill another Paul Bogo. Don't make them kill off the hard-working, trying Jamaican people because all of it are Garvey, all of it are Sam Sharp, all of it are Nani, all of it are Paul Bogo, all of it are George William Gordon, and all of it will fight and fight and fight and fight and fight and die if we have to die. So, Mr. Prime Minister, we want to settle this peacefully, sir. We want a peaceful settlement. And here's the settlement, Mr. Prime Minister. Number one, resign. Mr. Prime Minister, number one, resign. Number two, Mr. Opposition Leader, resign. Mr. Opposition Leader, resign. Number three, all 63 MPs resign. Number four, all senators resign. Number five, all municipal councillors resign. Number 5 or 6, all mayors resign. A Jamaica time now. A unity time now. We will not allow you to juke us with anything because we decide what's going to our bodies. I said, my body, 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 my body. So kill me dead, you know I juke this body, Mr. Prime Minister. You know I juke this body, Mr. Prime Minister. And guess what? Guess what? We don't care if anybody wants to take the vaccine. That is their right. If you want to take it, that is your right. Me not tell you not to take it. What I'm saying is this, don't force none of it to take it. Don't force none of it to take it. And if the vaccine spoil, Mr. Prime Minister, don't tax you to pay for it. Don't tax me to pay for it. Don't tax me to pay for it. You have stolen enough of our money already. And we're tired, Mr. Prime Minister, of you stealing our money. We're tired, Mr. Prime Minister. We're tired, Mr. Prime Minister. We're tired. And you know what happened? You know what happened? When you corner an animal, you see, when you corner an animal in a corner and try to block all an exit, guess what? You raise up the animal there, Mr. Prime Minister. You raise up the animal, Mr. Prime Minister. You raise up the animal, Mr. Prime Minister. You raise up the animal, Mr. Prime Minister. And you're going to raise up the animal spirit in Jamaican people, Mr. Prime Minister. If you don't stop the foolishness, Mr. Prime Minister. No. So, Mr. Prime Minister, remember, we want a peaceful solution. So we're calling now upon the Governor General. Watch me now. We're calling now upon the Governor General. Watch me. Not because we respect the office of the Governor General, because we don't. We don't have no respect for anybody who bows to the Queen. And we have no respect for a Queen who is the Queen of slavery. So guess what, Mr. Governor General, you too must resign. Mr. Governor General, I want you to write a letter on our behalf and send it to the Queen and tell her she is no longer welcome here. You have served long enough in our destruction. We don't want no white woman from no foreign country to be over our country. So we want the Queen to go now. And guess what? This one is for Mark Golding. Don't come play with us now about to go and get rid of Queen, Mark Golding. Guess what? You had 28 years. You had 18 years plus 10 to get rid of the Queen, and you didn't. So don't come play with us now, Mark Golding. You now fool us again, Mark Golding. You now fool us again, Andrew. You fool us for 77 years and time up. What me say? 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 Time up. Vacate Gordon House now because we're coming. Some of you may have heard that we're going to march on Gordon House. It's not a lie. We're getting ready to march on Gordon House. And guess what? We're not going there with 5 people. We're not going there with 50 people. We're not going there with 500 people. We're not going there with 5,000 people. We're going to Gordon House with 500,000 Jamaicans. And when we reach Gordon House, we expect one response from the Prime Minister. I resign. Mr. Prime Minister, your time is up, and it's either you leave honorably or leave dishonorably. But your time is up. I want you to know that the United Independence Congress of Jamaica only became a party to fix Jamaica. We don't want to be a party. We're a movement. But this movement had to be a party under their fake system. And so now we're going to go in there, we're going to elect 63 candidates, and we're going to change the system. We're going to have our own elected president by the people, for the people, of the people. And guess what? We're going to have 3 county vice presidents elected by the counties themselves. We're going to have 63 members of parliament elected not by delegates but by the people. We're going to have a government that's for the people, that's of the people and by the people. We're going to have a government that is there to protect the rights and freedoms of the people. We're going to have a government, listen me now, listen, for the first time in the history of this country, we're going to have a government that ensures that every child has proper nutrition, proper education, and proper health care. We're going to ensure that our soldiers and police officers are properly remunerated and can live a decent life and go up to the cooks and thieves. We're going to make sure that our teachers and our nurses and our doctors are properly paid so they can serve Jamaicans. We're going to make sure that Jamaicans have a road network that is worthy of the people of Jamaica. We're going to make sure that this country has an economy where everybody can participate from the bottom up, not from the top down. We're going to have a country that respects the people of Jamaica, so we don't have dirty roads and dirty hospital and dirty school. We're going to have a country where the people are respected, so the people who work in government show them good service. We're going to have a country where the people of Jamaica are respected in every sense of the word, and that begins today, because here so is a vote of confidence for the U.I.C. to walk all the way to Garden House and replace what's there with good governance. Yes, my fellow Jamaicans, you have suffered enough. We have suffered enough. We have suffered. We have suffered. We have suffered. Watch me. We have suffered enough. In 1965, hold on. In 1965, the value of our currency was strong. Every single year after that, the value of our currency has gone down. Why is the currency going down? They can't explain. This current Prime Minister and this Minister of Finance lied to you. They told you, stop looking at the value of the currency and start looking at inflation. Well, look at both of them. Inflation high and the value of the dollar low. Yes. Yes. How we fix it? All right. So what we know? I want to tell you something. Hold me. I am a chartered accountant. I'm a chartered accountant. So there are a few things that are very important to me. One of them is economics. One of them is finance. And one is accounting. I can count. I know how the numbers work. I know how economics work. And I can tell you this. The only reason why the Jamaican dollar is so low is because the government is stifling productivity in this country. The only reason why the dollar is so low is because the government is stifling productivity. How they do it? Let me tell you how they do it. They pass laws and regulations where they say it's for your benefit, but those laws and regulations is to protect big business and destroy small business. Because what they want is for one man to 200 slaves. One man, remember no, when the white man was here, they had 5 white men to 200 slaves. And guess what? It's still the same thing today. Right now, they just call it wages, but it's wage slavery. So the reason our dollar is low is because the government is preventing you from being your best self. Them stopping you from creating and producing and exporting, because guess what? They want to be gatekeepers. They want to decide who to let through and who to block out of the system. Right? They want to decide, oh, we're not going to make Lester Lewis go through. We're going to make this one go through. We like the one here, make it go through. Stop that one here. So guess what? Guess what? Guess what? The U.I.C. going to fly the gate so that everybody can go through. Because we want every Jamaican to be a productive Jamaican. You understand? Now hold on. You know why we have inflation now? Let me explain inflation to you. Why we have the high inflation rate we have? Watch me now. When Andrew locked down the country and locked down farmers can't produce. So the supply of farm produce go down, but the demand is still high. And so the price go through now. You understand me? This is not just in Jamaica, you know. It is a worldwide trick. That's why prices are so high right now. They constrain production and give special treatment to some companies. That's why some companies get richer and most companies get poorer. So if you are a small man, they want to wipe you out because they don't want you to be an entrepreneur. They don't want you to be an owner. They don't want you to be rich like them. They want you to be poor and dependent and weak. So that is why inflation is so high. But I want to tell you this, as an accountant myself, as a student of economics, the U.I.C. knows how to fix this economy. The way it fixes economy from the bottom up, grassroots economics, We're going to fix this economy by empowering the poor man, the small man, so that him can produce without the whole heap of regulations killing him. We're going to open up the economy. We're going to empower the citizens. We're going to give them what they need to produce, how they need to produce, when they need to produce, and why they need to produce. We are going to be the country that opens up for poor people to become wealthy people. It's a long time, too much of it at the bottom in this country. You understand? So watch me now. I talk to you about the devaluation. I talk to you about the inflation. No one talk to you about education. If you notice, you probably didn't notice, but every year, more than 70% of our students fail. Every year. Every single year, over 70% fail every year to gain enough subjects to be at a level where they can perform effectively in society. But guess what? Why do we have a subject-driven education system? What we want is a competency-driven education system. What we want is a system that creates productive thinkers, not simple employees. We want people who can produce and create, who can be employees but entrepreneurial, or not employees but builders. So watch me. The U.I.C. will open up the education system so that we change the model and allow students to be competent, productive, and creative. We want children who can think and understand how they're being tricked by politicians. So when we're done, no politician will be able to trick us again. My friends, we are brought together by the vaccine, but let's stay together for Jamaica. We're brought together by this fake vaccine, but let's pull together as Jamaicans and let them not and never again must we have a situation like we have now. So follow me. When we tear this down, let's build a system better than this. Let's build a system that will not allow any politicians ever again to become our master or dictator, right? So no master. We don't want a master. No master. No master. No master. No master. Freedom. 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 We want 3 freedoms. And we're not asking for it, we're demanding it. Number 1, we want freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. What they did, they stopped those who want to tell you the truth from telling you. They blocked them. Anybody who wants to tell you the truth, they blocked them. Did you know that our Prime Minister, at the start of this pandemic, blocked certain medication from coming into Jamaica? Because if those medications were here, they would save lives and we would not be so scared today and run to take the drug. So he blocked certain medication and people had to fight, and then they only give a little bit of it to come through for the rich, but not for the poor. So my friends, we can't trust them. So our freedom of speech must be protected. The next thing, you must have freedom of movement. They take away your movement so they can manipulate you and destroy your economy. And you must have freedom of choice. Nobody must put anything in your body. And so, my friends, as I conclude my talk with you today, I don't want this to be the end. I want all of you to go to uicjamaica.com and sign up to march on God knows. Sign up to march on God knows. One thing you know about the U.I.C, we're very orderly. We don't like the disorderly business. So you won't find anybody in our group that's doing anything untoward. We don't want the raga stuff. We want to be decent and in order because we serve a God that loves decency and order. You understand? Decent. If you look at the signs around you, they're decent signs. Decent. We're not calling anybody any names. We're not attacking anybody's character. What we're fighting for is our freedom. And so I want all of you to sign up. So the number there, 293-0812. Send a WhatsApp message to that number and say, I want to be a part of the march. Hear me now. I want to be a part of the march and garden house. We stop walk now, you know. We're going to march now. So I want the police and the soldiers to know that we're coming and we want you on our side when we march the garden house. We're not walking this time. We have been walking, you know. We have been walking. We call it the walk for liberty. No, we're going to march for freedom. You follow me? We're going to march the garden house, and I want every Jamaican, no matter who you are, even if you're in a wheelchair or on crutch, you must come out and march upon garden house because we want 5,000 strong to tell Andrew him wrong. We want 500,000 strong to tell Andrew him wrong. Say it with me. We want 500,000 strong to tell Andrew him wrong. Come on. We want 500,000 strong to tell Andrew him wrong. We want 500,000 strong to tell Andrew him wrong. Yes, Andrew, you're wrong for trouble the people of Jamaica. You're wrong for trouble the people of Jamaica. I will going to make you pay for it. Thank you.
We have maroon groups out there. We have people who previously supported the JLP and the PNP. We have people who support them right now, still support the PNP and JLP out there right now at this freedom rally here. And it goes to show that the U.I.C is truly a uniting force. It's not a force that's designed to separate the people. It's a force designed to bring the people together so that we can once and for all truly take back our future. For far too long, Camille, for far too long, we have let evil people, and I'm not going to mince any words here, these are evil people. We have let evil people direct our course for far too long, since 1944. And most of us have been unaware. And the reason why we're unaware is because of the education, the quote-unquote free education system that they gave us. Education system didn't teach us anything about politics, didn't teach us about policy, didn't teach us about economics, about taxes. It doesn't teach us about any of those things. The only thing the education system was designed to do is to push out worker bees, send us out to work to become employees. It did not teach us how to become employers, how to build, how to think for ourselves. Even our universities, it's the same thing. I have a degree in industrial engineering. They didn't teach me to monetize my degree. They taught me to go work for somebody else. And it is a system that we have to revamp if we ever hope for Jamaica to become a first world global power. And it can be done. But first, we have to fly the gate. The president said we have to fly the gate to allow everybody in Jamaica, regardless of your religion, regardless of your societal status, regardless of your economic status, the color of your skin, it does not matter. Everybody should receive the same opportunities to thrive. Of course, we see it happen in other countries. Other countries are breaking down. Their economies are being damaged. But whose fault is that? The virus doesn't run an economy. It does, right? The virus doesn't know maths and English, right? The virus is a living organism, yes, but it is the actions of individuals that are destroying economies. It is not the virus. The president said it. The government of Jamaica blocked drugs deemed by medical professionals in Jamaica to be life-saving drugs. This is not the U.I.C saying this. This is medical professionals in Jamaica, in Canada, in the U.S., in England, they're the ones who are saying this, not us. The government blocked these life-saving drugs from entering the country. 1,600 people died. Some of these drugs are in the country right now, but guess what? You cannot access them in the public healthcare system. It's blocked there still. If you want it in the private healthcare system, it's too expensive because of the quote-unquote embargo on the drug, the restrictions on the drug. They make it expensive because right now there's a high demand and there's not much supply. So Camille, some people don't like when I say this. When you see the actions of the Prime Minister constitutes state-sanctioned homicide. You blocking life-saving, and again, this is coming from the medical practitioners in regards to the effectiveness of this drug. You blocking Jamaicans from accessing life-saving drugs in order to promote one single product, that is murder. That is 1,600 counts of murder. And they will be held accountable.
That's the bottom line, Devon. I mean, any reasonable person would want to present options. You know, reasonable options, viable options. What are our options? Okay.
Okay, Richard, if you want to talk, you can unmute now.
Yeah, Devon, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, hi guys.
Hi, Richard.
So Richard, before you continue, can you start by introducing yourself to us?
Okay, right. My name is Richard Aiken. I'm a surgeon, and I also teach doctors. I commend your movement. I just wanted to say that, you know, it's not about the hype. It's not about the hype on the day. Yes, we had a good meeting, and some hype was there. But it's not about the hype. It's about the substance. And the substance has to be grounded in truth. And the substance has to be grounded in the well-being of the people. And as Peter Tosh says, you know, and I quoted earlier in the chat, everyone is crying out for peace, but no one is crying out for justice. And it has always been a cry for justice. The people want justice. In fact, a scripture I quoted, which is my authority, indeed comes through my interpretation of the scriptures, the Holy Scripture of the Judeo-Christian Bible. And in Micah chapter 6, verse 8, it does say, this is what God requires of you, O man, to do justly, walk humbly before your God, and live with righteousness. And therefore, you find that it has always been from ever since men have started to live together in communities, that leaders are required. And as the communities get bigger, we get governments. And these governments, because of the nature of human beings, these governments always look after those in power first, at the expense of the masses. And that is just the nature of human beings. And your movement will fall the very same, to the very same weakness if we don't realize that it cannot be just another movement of a political revival of the same old. Because the hype will give you just a same old. And as we taste power at the leadership of the group, that power will corrupt the leaders. And the system is structured in such a way that it does just that. Therefore, we have to realize that it's not about the leaders, it's not about the hype. Yes, in a movement among men, hype has been shown in the past to help to get the movement going. But a movement cannot survive on hype. A movement has to be grounded in truth and justice. And until that movement and that message comes to the awareness of the people, then that movement will be just another of the same old that is going to fall to the flaws and the weakness of corruption. All of those movements that have come before us have gone the same way. Why are we any different that we are not going to walk that same way? So it's not about the hype, Devon and Camille, and the leader of the movement, Mr. Pattison. It's about whether we are willing to pay the price without getting any reward, because what we hold as so dear among the principle of this movement is justice and truth and well-being for the people. So we need to have that introspection and that understanding. And if the hype is not even there on a day when you meet, it does not deter us, because our motivation is grounded not in the hype, but in the truth and the justice of the movement. That's basically what I would like to say.
I agree with you 100%, Richard, and I want to add to what you're saying. I was having a conversation this morning about something similar, and I said to the person, in my opinion, it does not make sense for the U.I.C. to win an election on hype. It does not make sense for the U.I.C. to win an election when the people had no idea what they voted for. And this is one of the reasons why the U.I.C. tends to come from an educational standpoint, because we want to make sure that every single voter who votes for the U.I.C. knows exactly what they're voting for, knows that they're voting for an entirely new system, knows that they're voting for a government that's designed from the ground up. Because we don't want, for instance, the U.I.C. becoming government and the people are not educated about the exact reason about why they voted for the U.I.C. in the first place, and for them to eventually then turn against the same system that's designed to build them, to create them. So I definitely agree with you 100%, Richard. It's about substance and it's not about hype, because hype can only get you thus far. But if you have substance and if people understand that substance, then yes, we can move forward as a people. We don't want, you know how politicians normally do their thing. They go out and they make all of these promises, and then when they come into power, those promises had no substance. They had no system behind it, and then they fail to deliver to the people of Jamaica. The U.I.C. does not want that. The U.I.C. wants to control your expectation, and you can expect that a U.I.C. government will be immediately tabling bills to ensure that our government system is changed over to the one that we have proposed, and we have proposed that system. It's not a system that we drafted. Sorry, it's not a system that that's in our heads. It's on paper. It's on our website. At the top of the let me make sure that okay. At the top of the system, we have the president, no governor general, no queen. Then we have 3 vice presidents, 1 for each county. Then we have their directly elected parish senators, no longer appointed by the prime minister and the opposition. And then we have our members of parliament who are directly elected by the people of Jamaica. One of the things I love most about the system that was designed by the U.I.C. is that the members of parliament can no longer become ministers of government, and senators can no longer become ministers of government. And the prime minister, who is now the president, is no longer a minister of government. Are you guys following me? Right? So that's the thing I like about the system that we've designed. And if you want to see that system, just go to our website, www.uicjamaica.com, and click the About Us page.
Let me just give you a little synopsis, because I have a pretty broad breadth of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
We can discuss that privately later on. But the world has gotten to a place in terms of the advancement of technology, communications, energy, weapons, commerce, transport, so that the old system of how the world was structured and ran, system where nations seek for themselves and themselves only, systems where the wealthy in the capitalist system have risen to such a height that they indeed, through lobbies, controlled the reins of governments and influence governments to make policies in the favor of these wealthy corporations, because money talks.
Mm-hmm.
And that system has been properly and thoroughly corrupted. And it is because of that that we don't have a government of elected people, of a democratic elected government anymore. We have governments that are put there because of money. Money is what determines who becomes the leader. And money is what determines what policies they set. And those policies are set for money, the people who own the money behind the scenes. Now that system has kept the majority of the world's population at survival, subsistence level, and various echelons of wealth, so that they are just striving for the next echelon above them. And based on that strife, you are now able to control them. And therefore, but the ultimate objective of that system is to keep the wealthy on the top and to keep working for that person. It's almost like the feudal system in the days of kings and nobles, except it's very hidden and subtle. And that is the system we have today. If, Devon, you look into technology and you realize that with artificial intelligence, with digital printing, digital manufacturing, 3D printing, with what's happening in genetic engineering and material science, at this point, and energy, even solar energy, we are at this point able to give 7 billion plus people a upper middle class lifestyle if the system was allowed to be level and everyone was allowed to reap a part in the produce that technology and the advancement of civilization has taken us. The rich man would not have to worry about his children. His children will be looked after. It's just the nature of man is that the rich man wants 1,000,000 times more than what he could ever spend in his lifetime. And when he gets it, he wants even more than that. And therefore that system of inequality continues to keep the mankind from taking that step into a situation of abundance. Abundance where scarcity will no longer determine the laws of economics, because the laws of economics only work when there is a demand for a scarce good. We have the technology at this point where everything can be abundant for 7 billion plus, and we're not overpopulated. The earth can hold far more than 20 billion people easily. And the technology is there to prevent global warming and to do whatever we need to have a utopia. Except the problem is the spiritual nature of man. Man is selfish. And this is now where I get into the spiritual understanding of what really is happening in humanity. It is coming to a climax in the COVID pandemic. Indeed, and you recognized rightly, the suppression and censorship of ivermectin. Absolutely amazing suppression and censorship by money. And people are dying, and the reins of power, they do not care about the lives of people. All that is important is that the objective is achieved. Vaccinate all at any cost and do whatever it takes to get that vaccination in the arms of people. And we have no idea what the long-term effects of these vaccines are. So what I'm telling you is that it is bigger than just the COVID pandemic. Mankind has been progressing to a point, and mankind left on its own is inherently unstable and is destined to destroy itself. So because we have weapons that can destroy the entire planet. So and it's not a matter of time. Those weapons are going to get in the hands of those who have malevolent intent. And unless we have a spiritual awakening where we understand that we need to care for every person on the planet, we need to care for our brothers as much as we care for ourselves.
So one sec, Richard.
Direction. And I know I'm taking up too much time for your meeting. Therefore, I will relinquish the podium back to you, Devon.
Yeah,
but it's bigger than just the goals that you have for the U.I.C.
So what I was saying to you, Richard, so you spoke of the problem being man, spiritually. Of course, man's desire to enrich him or herself. But what do you think happens when you consolidate that greed, those desires, those immoral actions into one entity that governs others? Are you following me?
It is the nature of man
Yes, but then when you consolidate the nature of man, right, into one governing entity that governs the lives of others, what do you think happens?
Okay, man is certainly likely to fall into the same ill until man is renewed spiritually, where he cares as much for others, and by others I mean everyone else, as much as you care for yourself and your loved ones. Then the situation will not change. And there is only one source that can change that. And I'm going to probably get into your unpopularity book at this point. That source is spiritual.
So right now, as it is, a large amount of the global population is suffering. So wouldn't a solution be to remove that negative energy, energy of humanity from the governing entity, so that those individuals cannot use the government to serve their own means?
That negative energy can only be removed by a spiritual power.
Okay,
Not
so
by
if
man.
okay,
Man,
so
man cannot remove it himself.
So it's not about, so right now we're not talking about removing that spiritual energy. We're talking about preventing that spiritual energy from being consolidated into a power, into one organized power that controls the lives of others. Wouldn't it be beneficial?
It has already done so, Devon.
Yes, but wouldn't it be beneficial now to remove the ability of those individuals to use the government for their own means?
You or I can't do that. That power that runs the world, right, is smarter than you, wiser than you, knows more than you. And whatever you do there, you'll be 1 step or 10 steps ahead of you. So you and I can't do that. This little country called Jamaica is providential. It's providential, but it's not going to happen through a political idea. It's going to happen through spiritual enlightenment.
So I don't disagree with you about spiritual enlightenment, but I definitely do disagree with you in terms of us not being able to do something about it. I think we can, and I know we can, and the U.I.C system is actually designed to do just that. So the system I explained earlier, for example, if you operate a bank, right? If you don't have proper checks and balances in your bank, of course, you're going to be robbed. Your customers are going to be robbed. You know, things are going to happen that you don't want those things to happen. However, if you have the proper checks and balances in the system that you design, whether that's a small business or whether that's a government, then you will find that it's less likely that individuals who have bad intentions will have the ability to use that system that system to inflict harm upon the lives of others.
Mr. Patterson, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. How are you?
All right. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Thank you for
Thank you,
that amazing, inspiring talk.
My pleasure, my pleasure. I'm now losing my voice, but I'm happy to be able to be a part of this. You know, it's amazing to see the interest of the people here on the ground. We've made a lot of new friends, a lot of people who are like they're longing for this. They're just pouring out their souls. So I had to walk around and talk with different people and just hear their stories, you know. And it's really sad to hear some of the stories how people are struggling. But it's also good to be able to hear from people as well. How is it on your end? How is it going over there online?
It's going good. It's going good. We have a few people here in the group watching you. We have quite a few on the live, and people have been very, they've been responding positively to the message that you, the Reverend, the Nation of Islam, Mark, and Marlon has been bringing to them.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Is there anything that you'd like to share with those on this virtual stage? And I know you're all talked out, but
yes, I am. But you know, I just want to say, I don't know how many people are on, but a big shout out to all of you who have taken the time to join us on this walk, because it's not just on the ground that's important. We need all our supporters, every Jamaican, around the world, wherever you are, to be a part of this process, to be a part of the liberation of our country, because we're stronger together, you know?
It's not just about Jamaicans here at home, it's Jamaicans in the diaspora. If we all come together and say, it's time for a new Jamaica, a real new Jamaica, then we can do it because we have all that it takes. We have all the competencies, all the skills, all the minds. So if Jamaicans just come together and unite and stop being divided by party colors and start being united in the interest of good governance in Jamaica, and especially now, as I was talking to some of the people here, the issue was it's a life and death matter right now, where this is not, we might be smiling, we might be, enjoying the good sunshine or whatever, but this is a serious matter. This is a life and death matter. This is a freedom matter, a liberty matter. And so we have to really, really, really take it for what it is and get engaged in the process of rescuing our nation from what's going on right now. So thank you very much, Madam Chairman, for your excellent leadership. And Mr. Thompson, Vice President, for your leadership. You're making a difference. Sorry you can't be here right now, but believe me, the online people needs you because you're bringing to them an insight into what's happening here on the ground. So all of us together can create a real new Jamaica.
Mr. Patterson, you've done something that's pretty amazing and something that we haven't seen in a while. You've managed to unite people of different religions, people of different ideologies in one group. And I was saying to our Zoom audience here that it's something that is momentous, and I think that the people of Jamaica will look back on this day with a proud view, right? So I just want to thank you and thank everybody there on the ground for what you're doing, because the people are seeing it, the people are feeling it, and the people are really happy about it. By the way,
yeah, Devon,
yeah, go ahead.
I can't hear it clearly, but I got the gist of it, I think.
Yeah.
And you're making a very important point, if we can just understand that now is not the time to focus on our differences, but to unite around a common purpose, which is our freedom, which is it's saving lives, it's rescuing our country, it's achieving something that we have never had before as a nation, which is real freedom, real liberty, a government that protects our right to life, our right to liberty, our right to our property. And so this is a key moment in our history.
Mm-hmm. And any updates for us on the Garden House March?
So I'll show you what's happening on the ground quickly. So everybody is getting a little bit of refreshment. And then we're going to head back on the road and walk around the bus park. And then we're going to head back down to the bus park down the other end. So we're just now kind of connecting. People are talking with each other. A lot of discussions going on. People are talking about what they've heard, what they want, and why they're here, and what they're fighting for. What I found very interesting was the number of persons who just popped up from around the community, who are all here just talking with us and exchanging ideas, giving us their phone numbers, and signing up to say they want to be a part of this. So you're going to see a big influx of membership, Devon. We should get ready to see, easily from today, another 100 or so persons signing up online. So looking forward to that.
All right, so good. So when you guys are ready for us again, you can just jump in and interrupt us. Okay.
No problem. So take care, guys. All the best. Talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you so much.
We've said on multiple occasions that our words in regards to medical treatments being blocked are our words in regards to medical treatment that can actually be used to treat COVID-19 are not our words. This is information that we are getting from medical practitioners around the world. And these medical practitioners are being blocked. They're being prevented from spreading the information to you. For example, there's one called Frontline, I think it's Frontline COVID Critical Care. They're based in the US. There's one called Bird in the United Kingdom. As soon as they release information on how to protect yourself from this virus, they're censored for misinformation, and then the governments themselves don't take that information and they don't include that information in their public health campaigns, and they don't allow hospitals to use these things to save lives. And no, what they're doing in the US, actually, they're threatening medical practitioners. They're telling them that they're going to lose their licenses if they keep pushing these treatments, if they keep trying to save lives. So we have to understand that what's going on right now is bigger than Jamaica. It's bigger than the U.I.C, it's bigger than the JLP, it's bigger than the PNP, it's bigger than our election. It is much, much bigger than us as individuals. This is a global thing that's going on right now, and we think it's a global threat. And as Jamaicans, or if you're American, if you're Canadian, if you're British, doesn't matter where you are in the world, you have to move to defend yourself against this global threat. Because this global threat desires for you to lose your liberties, for you to lose your bodily autonomy. Your body is yours. My body is mine. Spoke about this earlier. It doesn't matter what the medication is. It could be aspirin. It could be Tylenol. it could be a cough medicine. So it doesn't matter what the medication is. The only thing that matters is that I get to choose my medication, and I get to do so with informed consent from my medical practitioner. The Prime Minister of Jamaica, the President of the US, the Prime Minister of Canada, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, the Chief Medical Officers, they are not your medical practitioners. They are not. They are not your private doctor. Any medical decision that you make should be between you and your medical practitioner. Sure, you can go ahead.
Right. Thanks for the opportunity again, Devon. On the pandemic issue, basically what's happening in the world is being divided into two camps. One camp, which is the larger camp, are those who subscribe and go along with the agenda of the authorities. And in short, that agenda is to vaccinate everyone, inject this substance into the arm of every single person on the planet. That's the agenda of the authorities. And then you have the other camp that is resisting vaccinating with this so-called vaccine. And it's not that they're anti-vaxxers, because I would say almost all of them are vaccinated against the old-time diseases, all the diseases that we're all vaccinated against. So I am not an anti-vaxxer. I have not taken the vaccine, and I have good reasons why, as a medical professional, I have not taken it. Even my colleagues and classmates. What I have found is that this pandemic is dividing people, even in households, wife against husband, communities, countries, and indeed across the world. So as you say, it's a global divide on these two camps. Now, there are those on the camp that says they're not taking the vaccine that are very well-founded in their ways because they align it with their spiritual values. And then there are a lot who are just suspicious and they're in between. And those in between people who have not yet taken the vaccine and are contemplating the pros and the cons, they are going through torture, turmoil. Take it from me, I know a few. They are torn and they are being ridiculed and they are being told how idiotic they are. Every manner of insults are being thrown at both them and the so-called anti-vaxxers. And this, in my opinion, from where I sit, is not a struggle for world health. Far from it. I have known many people who have had serious complications of the vaccine. I know that there are treatments that will make the illness into a mild illness. And those who get it and have a mild illness, their immunity is far better than the immunity acquired by the vaccine. And this is being proven by all the figures coming out of Israel. Israel has a 70% vaccination rate, 70 plus. And they are now finding that the new variants are attacking the vaccinated. The vaccinated in Israel, their immunity is waning. And they're finding that those people who got COVID and got better are standing up against the variants with very strong strength. They are not looking, and they're not in the hospital.
Dr. Aiken, sorry to interrupt you, but we need to go to the camera on the ground. Devon?
Yeah, let's hear let's hear what goes.
I will stop.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks a lot.
If you don't take your camera, our people are
say soon like you yourself if you not take your vaccine. And you know what you're voting, you're not going to take it. My body, my choice. My body, my choice. My body, my choice. Freedom, liberty, freedom, liberty, freedom, liberty, freedom, liberty, freedom, liberty. We don't need to go and online, join this movement, U.I.C movement. You have a right to choose if you want to take it back. Right to choose. But stop telling me your people they can't go to school if they don't take it. You can't go to church if they don't take it. You can't sell and you stall if you don't take it. You can't go to the supermarket. Liberty. Liberty. My body, my choice. My body, my choice. No force, no fraud. No force, no fraud. No force, no fraud. No force, no fraud. The rest of our men, and then you say because they like to get a vaccine. My body, no choice. My body, no choice. No force, no fraud. No force, no fraud. My body, my choice.
I just wanted to come in here for a second. I mean, so I got a message just now. It's in regards to a memo sent by King Alarm Systems Limited. Now, this one is a little bit different. Let me read this one to you guys. So this memo is to all contracted security officers. It's from the managing director, and it was sent, I think this is yesterday, September 10, 2021, regarding the vaccination for COVID. Now, listen up, because this one is a little different. It's a little tricky. So, further to my last correspondence on the subject, COVID-19 cases continue to rise, and the healthcare system across the island is coming under increasing pressure. While it is proven that vaccines do not prevent one from contracting COVID-19, there is also overwhelming evidence to suggest that it does reduce the risk of serious illness or death associated with the virus, and also appears to reduce the risk of transmission. Appears to reduce the risk of transmission. You hear the keywords. In fact, recent statistics showed that over 99% of patients in one of our hospitals were in fact unvaccinated. And that's very misleading, by the way, because if you have a majority of the population, 95% who are unvaccinated, of course, they're going to be the majority in the hospital. That's very misleading. So the next sentence, while social distancing, hand washing, and mask wearing remain critical tools in the fight against COVID-19, so too is getting vaccinated in an effort to minimize risk to yourself, your loved ones, and those around you. With all this in mind, I am again encouraging those of you who have not yet been vaccinated to do so immediately. And a reminder, this is from King Alarm Systems to their contracted security officers. We are awaiting information from the Ministry of Health regarding vaccination blitzes at our offices. But in the interim, I encourage each and every one of you to go out and get vaccinated. We can assist if needed with the coordination of same. Now, here is where it gets interesting. And this is where the illogical ideology of society needs to be questioned here. It says, more and more of our clients are demanding that officers sent to their locations must be vaccinated or must present a negative PCR COVID-19 test each week. Of course, the cost of weekly testing in such instances for those who remain unvaccinated will not be absorbed by the company. As a result of these client demands, it is becoming increasingly difficult for us to satisfy these customers without your cooperation and your willingness to take any of the vaccines which are now readily available. So this is the first one we've seen so far where the blame has directly been placed on the customer. So you know how businesses operate. Whenever costs increase, they tend to pass that cost along to the customer. So I have a question to King Alarm Systems. Why didn't you pass the cost of the PCR test along to your customer who is demanding this additional service? No, they're asking for a premium, right, Camille? The premium they're asking for is that the people who come to their site must be vaccinated or have a PCR test. So let the customers pay for the premium that they're asking for. If the customer was asking you, King Alarm, that you should have BMWs coming to your site, you know, to service you, then you should increase the cost for that premium. right? You
absolutely agree with you.
Yeah, you shouldn't be forcing your employees to pay for something that your customer is asking for. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And it goes to the illogical nature of society. They said here that, of course, the vaccine does not prevent transmission. They claim that supposedly it's supposed to reduce it, right?
It appears.
Right? So how is it logical for you then to accept a vaccinated person? Can that vaccinated person not transmit the virus to you? Or society is broken?
You know, like we weren't messing on the road or anything like that. We would need your help with motorized patrol or anything like that. And we make sure that we choose a vicinity where it's in the eyesight of you guys. Because we are a part of it. You understand what I mean by so the respect is due? And in thanking him, where he would have came and gave his advice and we would have shown him that that's all respected, because this is not the first case that I've been. And we have not had any incident, especially when we're here fighting for the same rights of everyone. We're not here talking about something of some different agenda. It's the fact that person needs to have the right to choose. And if you're going to give a person an option, that is not a right. You're being coerced to choose something. Thank you. Thank you. So I thank you guys for that. And I realized the persons were there. We saw the officers making sure that everything was okay and calm. So respect on that. And even with you coming down here, thank you very much. All right. I have a great and safe day. Real tough job. Just continue. All right. Respect. Yeah. Good job. Yeah. Respect the professionalism. Respect the professionalism. Respect.
The Prime Minister of Jamaica has escalated. He has now claimed that he has the constitutional power to force every single Jamaican citizen to take this injection. How is he going to do so? He's going to say to you that you can't access the banking system. He's going to say to you, you can't go to the grocery store, you can't go to the bar, you can't go to the restaurant, you can't fly in a plane, you can't use public transit. He's going to say that you are going to be excluded from social life. We're seeing now in the U.S. where individuals are now talking about preventing the unvaccinated from leaving their houses. It's no longer about contracting COVID-19 anymore. It doesn't matter if you have it or not. If you are unvaccinated, they are going to remove you from social life. They're going to cut off your access to social life, to economic life. And that is the direction that they're going to. No, they know that people are going to resist. We are going to resist. It doesn't matter what country you are in. You could be in Jamaica, in Trinidad, in Barbados, in the US, in Canada, in the UK, in St. Vincent. People are going to resist. They know this. So what is their next step? When they realize they cannot coerce people to give up their bodily autonomy, what is their next step? Is the next step of the Prime Minister of Jamaica to mobilize the Jamaica Defense Force? Is that his next step? We don't know, and we will not wait to find out. Therefore, our next march, we're no longer walking for no liberty. No, we are marching for liberty. Our next march will be in Kingston. The U.I.C, the Nation of Islam, Christian groups, Rastafarian groups, Maroon groups, supporters of the JLP, supporters of the PNP will be marching on Garden House this coming week. Stay tuned for more information, and thank you all for joining us.
Well, all right, there you have it, Unstoppable family. It was long and lengthy, so I'm not going to waste no more time right here so talking, but I'm just simply going to ask you to comment down in the comment section and let me know what is your take on this whole thing right here. All right, now I am in communications with the leader of the U.I.C, Mr. Patterson, and I'm trying to see if I can get him to have a live conversation with me on this very same platform where you all will be able to ask your questions and he will be able to give you the answers. All right, maybe it's about time Jamaica get a new party where I go come and take charge of everything, and maybe we will see a change. Just maybe. Viewers, talk to me down below. Let me know. Would you like to see Jamaica do away with the PNP and the JLP and a new party take over things? Talk to me down below. Maybe the U.I.C can be that party. You never know. This has been another one from Unstoppable TV. Like, share, comment, and definitely, if this is your first time here and you have not yet hit that subscribe button, please consider hitting the subscribe button now. Turn on all notifications. Once we upload a video, you will get notified. No matter what, don't make nobody stop you. I'm unstoppable. I'm out.
Right now, you know we unstoppable. Unstoppable.